Hello, and welcome to the 2025 Teacher of the Year Studio Interviews. Throughout the history of the world, great teachers have inspired, persuaded, and motivated students. The St. Lucie Public Schools Teacher of the Year has been around for 45 years and is meant to celebrate and honor inspiring teachers and recognize the importance of teaching. All of us have sat in the classroom of many great teachers. All of us can recall a certain teacher, a very special someone who inspired us to learn. Regardless of their fields of study, they shared wisdom, advocated for students, and their actions transformed lives. Every day, along with 100 million parents, we entrust our children with these teachers. They instruct, guide, coach, and inspire our kids to fulfill their greatest potential. So this program presents some extraordinary men and women whose timeless wisdom echoes the integrity, strength, character, and passion of educators across our district and our great nation. This program is a tribute to and for teachers and celebrates the special and often heroic role they play in the lives of students. Finally, this program is our thank you, our love letter to those who educate, encourage, empower, and inspire the students of the world. Our robust program is designed to bring national attention to the importance of excellence in teaching and celebrate the talents and commitments of these extraordinary teachers. Let's meet them now.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
We're excited to be back with the wonderful Miss Siobhan Silas, who's the principal over at Bayshore Elementary School. Miss Silas, welcome to the show.
Thank you, welcome.
And she's brought along the dynamic Teacher of the Year, Miss Trisha Boudram, who is the Teacher of the Year there. Welcome.
Thank you.
We are so excited to have this opportunity to speak with you. A little bit about me. I was Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie Public Schools back in the dark ages. So we like to celebrate and share just a small portion of the dynamic teachers in our field that have been selected as a Teacher of the Year for their school, because we know that they represent some of the brightest and best educators near and far. With that being said, Ms. Boudram, would you please briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yes, so my name is Trisha Boudram. I'm actually born and raised from Brooklyn, New York. I went to school and earned my degree in psychology. I always felt like I like to observe. I'm very quiet and shy, but I'm an observer. So I was interested in learning how the brain works. After that, I graduated and moved down here to be closer to family. Family is very important. And then I started my educational journey, or journey into education. I was a teacher's aide at first in a private sector, then teacher, then the director of the school. And then I transitioned back into teaching because I just love the kids. So I feel like over that course of time, I kind of learned a lot of what it takes as a team and how everyone plays a certain part in education, and every part is important.
Yes, yes. Ms. Silas, briefly introduce yourself, please, to our viewers.
Well, my name is Siobhan Silas. This is my 20th year in education, my 4th year as principal, and I am just excited to be a part of the journey. Ms. Boudram, I've been at Bayshore for 9 years now, and we have developed an amazing relationship. It's probably the 5 boroughs type thing because I'm from Queens, so she's from Brooklyn, and I just think that we really have a great relationship, and I'm so happy to be working with her.
So, Ms. Boudram, tell me, what do you make of this honor, being selected by your colleagues as their Teacher of the Year, their representative?
I know, it's a very humbling experience. I've been at Bayshore for 12 years and always teaching VPK, and I'm just so grateful to be honored by my colleagues. And it's just very, it's nice to be seen. So I'm very excited.
Tell me about an influential person that kind of impacts you as a teacher.
Well, I feel like my parents are actually the most influential. They were immigrants to the States. They came in the 1980s from Guyana, and they struggled. I mean, as a child, I didn't see the struggle, but now as an adult, I see how hard they worked. And education was always on the forefront. They always pushed, no matter what, that education was very important. And to be selfless and giving and, you know, humanity, compassion, and grace, those were key components, and I take that into my field with me.
When did you first fall in love with teaching?
I feel like I've always been in love with teaching. I remember being 6 years old and playing school, like rushing home, writing on the boards, and pretending to have students and grades and lunch breaks with my sister and talking about our students. And it was just really fun. I've always had this need to serve, and, you know, helping kids and like seeing the powerful impact that my teachers had on me kind of pushed me in that direction, that, you know, they are such influential people in our lives as children. So I really love it.
So were you one of those persons that set your dolls up and taught?
Oh, yes, yes. And a lot of the times they weren't even real. Like, I even had like imaginary, like, you know, there was no one there.
Cool.
But that one person was getting in trouble. Like, you know, it was really
taught you how to
interesting.
discipline students.
Yes,
right?
exactly, early on.
So what makes you a good teacher? Brag on yourself, come on.
Yes, let's think. I believe that creating those strong relationships is of utmost importance with these kids. Being a VPK teacher, I'm pretty much the first introduction into education for them. Most of them come with limited or like no background in schooling. And so I have to lead them and show them the way of what education and what learning is. And so like creating that trust, like going from their parent being the only caring adult to having someone strange in their lives, those relationship building is very important.
So, Ms. Silas, tell me this. Yes. When you visit the VPK room with Ms. Budram as the leader, what is it that you witness? What is it that maybe that you see, hear, or how does it make you feel?
Wow. Okay. So when Ms. Budram said that what she developed from her parents, you said compassion and serving. That is exactly, she is the epitome of that. Because when I walk into her classroom, I see learning, but the engagement part. Because you can walk into a classroom and students are learning, right? But seeing how she talks to them and how they engage with the content and how they engage with each other, you already know that she has built a team within her own classroom. Students are talking and laughing and playing, and not only are they playing, they know what they're doing. They're independent. So from the beginning of school to like 4 weeks after, the transition is amazing. Because like she said, when they first come in, they don't, you know, it's their first learning experience. But from the time they enter in August to, like I said, 4 or 5 weeks later, they are little independent VPKers.
Okay, cool.
It's amazing to see the transition.
Ms. Budram, VPK, and you've been at Bayshore for 12 years. So what do you think has been your greatest impact during this time?
I believe that, like Ms. Silas mentioned, creating self-directed learners. Like a lot of the kids who come, they're 4 and 5 years old, and they're used to like having someone else lead the way. And my greatest impact is that I teach them that they can be leaders. You know, they can take control of their own learning. I'm just a facilitator providing the tools for them, but at the end of the day, they are in charge. And creating these confident, self-directed learners who are excited and love to learn, that's my greatest impact. They take that on with them for the rest of their educational journey.
Yeah, that foundation is very, very important. So, Ms. Silas, think hard, Describe Miss Boudram for me using 3 adjectives and tell me why.
Ooh, okay. Well, she is definitely hardworking. You know it going into her classroom. You know it seeing her around campus. And like she said, she's VPK, so she's a silo. I have one VPK classroom, right? But you wouldn't know that because every teacher on that campus knows Miss Boudram. And Miss Boudram knows and interacts with all the teachers. So she's even though there's only one VPK unit, she is a part of, you know, the school, and her impact is known. So very hardworking. And like I said, you can see it within her classroom. The second adjective, enthusiastic. Can you just say good morning? Can you say it how you say it? She has this thing where, no, it's not. It's hi. She has this thing where she says hi.
She kind of sings it.
Yes, and it's so, I mean, I love seeing her in the hallway because I want to say hi too, you know, and the kids, you know, copy her. So they're even saying hi. I mean, it melts my heart. It really does because she is sunshine. And the third one is dedicated. Her pedagogy, her knowledge, her determination. If a child is, if she has a struggling student or a student that needs extra support, she is going to do everything that's needed to make sure that child gets the resources or the support that child needs. And I love that about her.
Hardworking, enthusiastic, and dedicated. So what inspires you?
I have to say, it's got to be the kids. The kids really do inspire me. When they come to me, they really don't, I don't want to say they don't know anything, but I have to teach them how to interact socially, emotionally, academically, and to see them grow over time, you know, in such a quick span, that really inspires me because I just love to see them learning, and not only learning, but being kind people. Like, you know, I'm teaching the whole child, not just academically, but teaching them how to be a good person and member of society at a very young age. And I feel like, you know, at that point, at this stage in life, the brain is very flexible and adaptable. And so what I do and how I'm a role model affects them. And so they are inspiration every single day just to see how well they can do on their own.
What do you consider to be the biggest challenge facing education and educators?
Yes. I think everyone really tries their best to find out what works well in education, but it's evolving. It changes all the time. In my opinion, technology, only because when these kids are interacting with TV and tablets and phones, they're losing that social interaction that is required to move forward. And they are learning, however, they might not know how to interact or communicate. And so I feel like that's kind of stifling for them. And with that being said, it just makes, that's when my work starts. And so like I have to teach them, you know, how to interact with each other, how to develop friendships, how to maintain friendships, how to problem solve and critical think on their own. And I have to be a star almost, because I don't have the bells and whistles of the internet, and so I have to reflect on my teaching to make it exciting for them.
Okay, I'm gonna put you on the spot and we're gonna play a speed round. I'm gonna throw out some favorites, you throw out the answers.
Okay.
Ready?
Yes.
Favorite food?
Thai.
Favorite restaurant?
Blackbird.
Favorite movie?
Love Actually.
Really?
I know.
Favorite sports team?
The Dolphins.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite song?
Unstoppable by Sia.
Okay, I thought being from New York, it might be one of those New York teams.
No,
Okay.
I know.
You're a real Florida
you should.
girl now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I've been here for too long.
Miss Silas, what makes Miss Boudram the perfect nominee for this, representative for this nominee?
Well, Miss Boudram is a model classroom for VPK. She has, the state comes in, I believe, every year.
Yes.
And she has one of the top scores in the state. So that alone lets us know that, you know, her classroom is something that we're trying to emulate, you know. So what makes Boudram Teacher of the Year? From my observation, it is her compassion, the love and the care that she has for her students, and the dedication that she has to her craft. She recently got her master's. So she is a lifelong learner, and having a teacher in that position, leading and guiding our littles that we also want to become lifelong learners, is exactly what we want in education.
So, as ambassador for education for Bayshore, you will be asked to speak to many people. What's your message?
It starts at birth. I feel like it's very important to have that serve and return relationship. That's like a two-way interaction, because 90% of the child's brain is fully developed by the age of 5. So we have to really understand that early childhood education is an important part of the whole field of education. And that is important. I think that when you think about the child, building those foundations and setting that tone for them to be career ready is important, even at a young age. In my classroom, the kids, I tell them that they're mathematicians and scientists and engineers, just so they know that this is where I can go, you know, building that language and helping them understand that what they're doing is important. Sometimes they think they're just playing, but they're actually working on skills. So it's really important to start that at a young age so that they can create those core memories and take it with them to continue their learning process.
Share with us your prop.
Okay, so I got this from one of my mentors, actually. It's called, it says on it, Progress.
Hold it up for me.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right.
Progress over perfection.
Okay.
It has two messages. For me, when I first started, it was I didn't know, I thought that everything had to be a certain way. And so like, I have to remember that the goal is just to be 1% better every day. Even with the kids, I can't expect them to know everything right off the bat. They all learn at different paces and styles, and it takes some time. And so it's really important that we celebrate the progress that they are making, even celebrating those little baby steps, anything to lead them to their ultimate goal.
Ms. Boudram, Ms. Silas, it's been a pleasure speaking with both of you this morning. I can see that, yes, you are the star in your room, and your star is shining bright. Congratulations on your selection as the Teacher of the Year for Bayshore.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
We are St. Lucie Public Schools. We are accoladed, recognized, accredited, merited. We are innovators, builders, career-driven, future-forward leaders. We are community-focused, partners, mentors, contributors. We are historic, unique, extraordinary, admired. We are champions, energetic, competitive, game changers. We are artists, dancers, designers, musicians. We are diverse, inclusive, collaborative, empowering. We are caregivers, protectors, supportive, attentive. Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
We are excited at this time to have the wonderful opportunity to talk with Ms. Decreta Green Moore, who's the dynamic Teacher of the Year over at Chester A. Moore Elementary School. I'm sorry, it's Chester A. Moore K-8 now. I'm sorry, I caught myself. Welcome, Ms. Green Moore.
Welcome. Hi, how are you?
I'm great. It's a pleasure to speak with you this morning. She's also brought along our very good friend, the dynamic principal there, Dr. Thelma Jackson. Doc, welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you.
It is exciting to have this opportunity to speak with you. Coming off of our holiday, we get to share with our viewers immediately some of the dynamic teachers that we have here in St. Lucie County. One teacher from each school, but you represent some of the brightest and best educators near and far. With that being said, Ms. Green Moore, briefly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Okay, my name is Decreta Green Moore. I'm actually a lifelong resident of St. Lucie County. I attended Morningside Elementary. I went to Dan McCarty Middle, and I graduated from Fort Pierce Central High School. So I've been here my entire educational career for the most part. I'm a mother of 4, 3 by birth, 1 adopted. I am married. I have my AA degree from IRSC. My bachelor's is from FAU, and my master's is from Ashford University in culturally responsive education.
Cool, cool. Dr. Jackson, would you share with our viewers as well?
Yes, sir. So I am Thelma Jackson. This is my 32nd year in public education, and I am honored and esteemed to be in my 4th year as the chief servant at the Chester A. Moore Elementary.
I better write that down so I can make sure that I say that. I got it. So, Ms. Green Moore, tell us about an influential person that played a very important role in your life that may even inspire how you interact and teach students each day.
There's actually 2.
Okay.
One is sitting right next to me, Dr. Thelma Jackson. She is an amazing leader, an amazing woman, and her influence transcends just my job. It's not just my job. She inspires me and motivates me to be a better person, which lends itself inside with my job as well. And another would be Latricia Woolard. I had the pleasure of working with her many moons ago. We're not going to say how many, but it was a little while ago. And upon meeting her and the way that she handles education, period, in her schools, it showed me what kind of individual I eventually want to become when I take that seat. Not right now, but soon when I go into that side of it, the administration side.
Dr. Jackson, she saw the wheels moving in my head.
Right,
Yeah, I had to throw that out there.
So what, Ms. Green Moore, what do you make of this honor being selected by your colleagues as their representative?
To be honest with you, I was utterly shocked. Dr. Jackson came out my door like it was a normal day, like, come on down, we need you in the cafeteria. And I was actually talking to a child, and when she called my name, my face went, I was filled with, it was humbling, and I was filled with joy, not realizing that my colleagues actually thought of me in that way. It's, even though you're helpful and you talk with people and you guide other teachers and you work with the children, it was larger than life for me. This is one of the most, what's the word I'm looking for? Personal, but public experiences I've ever had in my life. And it made me realize the impact that I have versus what I thought my impact was. It was just the children. So for my colleagues to say, we want you to represent us, that was just heartwarming and inspiring.
So let me push you a little bit more. What makes you a great teacher?
What makes me a great teacher is I'm not afraid to do whatever is necessary to ensure that my children get what they need from me. Be that working at home, be that, I shouldn't say that because this, might be watching, but working at home, tutoring during and after school, reaching out to parents, building those relationships. And that is my number one thing. I need my children to understand that there's always someone in your corner, regardless as to what you're coming out of. And being as I grew up in a similar socioeconomic status as to where I'm working, when I see me. And someone had to pour into me. So I do my best to pour all that I have into my students.
Dr. Jackson, you have an opportunity to visit Greenmore every day. Tell us, what is it that you see, hear, and or feel when you watch your work?
So, Ms. Decreta Greenmore, I'm going to see her every day because she's that source of inspiration. She's going to say, check your face, what's going on? You're happy today. We're all here for a reason. But she reminds me of one of my favorite movies, Dead Poets Society. And the teacher in there, John Keaton, he says, I'm striving to find the poet in you. So what Ms. Green does, no matter what it takes, she's going to find the scientists and the students. When they come into her classroom, some people dream of meeting their favorite scientists. I teach mine every day. So there's movement, there's activity, there's meeting them at their level, if it's singing, if it's dancing, if it's hauling in half a truckload of sand from the beach. I said, did you just go raid the beach of all the sand to get a message across to the students? She's bringing the beach to them. So in her classroom, you're going to see science come to life because she wants students to live science and not just read about it.
So, what has been your greatest impact, Greenmore?
My greatest impact, I'm going to measure that by bumping into some of my students that I had my first year of teaching that are now graduating and going off into their different life journeys. And to have them look at me and say, Miss Green, or Miss Osborne, or Miss Moore, whichever I was at that time, you are my favorite teacher. I remember you. I actually just bumped into a student last night. He was cashiering at the Dollar Tree and he looked at me and he said, Miss Green, and I said hello, and he said, it's Jose. And he thought I had forgotten him because he was not English speaking when I had him. And I said, little short Jose? and, and he started laughing. He was like, yes, it's me. He was like, I didn't speak a lot of English when I was with you, but you really helped me. And that, to me, is the impact that I want to make. I want to be that individual that you pull a nugget from and you take that with you as you mature and become a productive member of society.
So, Greenmore, what do you think is the greatest challenge facing education/educators today?
There's two of those. One I feel would be technology, the improper use of technology, because technology can definitely be a plus when used appropriately. But I think it has kind of hit our children to the point where the curiosity that naturally was there is now easily solved just by picking up a phone or a tablet and typing it in. So it's kind of, from the science aspect of it, it's definitely taken away some of that curiosity. Another thing I would say would be teacher retention. And the reason I feel that teacher retention, that high turnover rate, so a lot of the connections that are built end up getting severed for whatever the reason may be. And we need to support our new teachers a lot more because things have changed. From when I started 12, 13 years ago, actually, I've been in the field of education for about 30 years because I did VPK prior to coming into the district. But things have definitely changed with the use of technology, with the way the world is going. You have influencers now that don't have a single degree, that are, millionaires and different things like that. And our children look up to that.
Right.
So we definitely need people that can show them and guide them along the way.
Dr. Jackson, describe Greenmore for me using 3 adjectives and tell me why those 3.
So, gregarious, talented, and an overcomer.
Okay. Okay, tell me why those.
So she's perfectly imperfect. You get to see the real Decreta Green Moore. And you can see her fail and fall down, but you're gonna see her strategically get back up. And our kids need that. They've counted themselves out. They have a lot against them, but she constantly reinvents herself and shows them nothing can take you out. You can overcome anything.
So, what makes Mrs. Greenmore the perfect candidate for this honor?
So what makes Ms. Greenmore perfect for the Teacher of the Year honor is, if we look at the numbers, the work that she's done at C.A. Moore since she came on board, us being an F school, and her first year in teaching 5th grade science, it's increasing by 20 percentage points is huge. It's the highest science achievement in the history of the school. It was an Achilles heel for us, so she showed our kids that you can learn and excel in science. So that's huge. The other piece is she shows up every day, and she's going to do whatever it takes to reach the students. And as she's indicated, she advocates for them in the buildings, in the walls, in the streets, with the parents. Even if it comes up against me, she's going to advocate for the kids to learn and to be a part of the school.
Doc, if I ask you to describe Ms. Greenmore with a hashtag, what would that be?
So I thought about one word, but because I'm on this workout kick, it's no excuses, just results. That's the hashtag. No excuses, just results. You're gonna come in this classroom, I'm gonna give you what you need, and if you use it, you can be successful.
Speed round, Ms. Greenmore. You ready?
I'm
I'll
ready.
throw them out, you answer. Favorite food?
Seafood.
Favorite restaurant?
Olive Garden.
Favorite movie?
Dirty Dancing.
So we're gonna pick you up because nobody puts baby in the corner, right?
Exactly.
Favorite sports team?
I don't have one.
You live in Florida and you don't have a team?
No.
Okay,
don't
we're gonna
watch
have to work
sports.
on you. We're gonna work on you.
Please do.
Okay, all right. Favorite song?
Rise Up.
Okay, all right. I know it well. You, by your selection, have automatically become the representative, the educational ambassador for Chester A. Moore. Speaking to people, what's your message?
My message is that all children are capable of success. Yes, I am a 10. And that we need to really begin to refocus on our children and guide our children to where they need to be and where they should be. Some of them are a little rough on the edges, but they deserve more so, if not equal, to what others are getting. We definitely need to use our data, let it influence us to make the proper decisions for our children, because Chester A. Moore may not be the same as Morningside, but Chester A. Moore's students are just as capable as any other students. So I am a very high expectation individual. And I do that because if you shoot for the moon, you'll land amongst the stars. So progress is definitely where my heart lies.
Share with us your prop.
Okay, I actually have two. This is a picture that I have of some of my students that says never give up throughout the years. I also have my little grandbaby on here because when I look at my students, I realize that my grandson is one day going to sit in somebody's classroom, not mine, but somebody's
Yeah, you
classroom.
couldn't teach your grandson.
No. But we definitely I want to be that teacher that I know that I would want him to have. That is the teacher that I am. Sometimes grandma or mama, and we're not going to be able to make it. But as long as that teacher is there, I've had to tell my students, it's okay, baby. Mama had to work, but you know your other mama's here. I'm always here for you. So this reminds me that no matter what, good days, bad days, indifferent days, do not give up on them.
Okay, okay.
And then I have my little light that I have sitting behind my desk. This reminds me that I am guiding them, many through darkness, and I'm showing them the way through that. once again, living the life that they have lived. I know it can be pretty dark in there, and somebody had to be my guiding light. So I like to guide my students to a brighter day.
Dr. Jackson, Ms. Green-Moore, thank you for sharing with us. And I always am excited to have this opportunity to speak. I was Teacher of the Year back in the dark ages. So being able to celebrate and highlight the dynamic teachers here in St. Lucie County is important to our superintendent, is important to our board, and we are able to do that through this show. Thank you again for sharing with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
We are excited at this time to speak to the dynamic Teacher of the Year from Weatherby Elementary School, Ms. Yahira Ooms. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's
Did
an
I
honor
say
to
it
be
right?
here. Yes, you
I
did.
did,
Yay!
yes. She's brought along with her a wonderful principal who was the Assistant Principal of the Year for the state of Florida, Miss Angela Patton. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. It is a pleasure for us to have an opportunity to speak with both of you. We delight in the opportunity to share just a small portion of the dynamic teaching field here in St. Lucie Public Schools, because we know that you represent some of the brightest and best educators anywhere, near and far. With that being said, Ms. Ooms, would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Absolutely. So this is my third year in St. Lucie County. I teach third grade at Weatherby Elementary. Prior to that, I was at Franklin Academy in Boynton Beach. I started as an administrative assistant, moved to substitute teacher, and then I was the media specialist for kindergarten through 8th grade.
Cool, cool.
Yeah.
Ms. Patton, introduce yourself, please.
Yes, I'm Angie Patton. I have been with St. Lucie Public Schools as an educator for over 22 years, and this is my second year as the proud principal of Weatherby Elementary.
I love it when she says the proud
Yes.
principal. Yes.
We are proud to have her. We are very lucky.
That's awesome. So, what do you make of this selection, this honor of the teacher, being the Teacher of the Year for Weatherby?
I love it. Weatherby is such a special place with such special people. Once I was on the ballot as a finalist for 2 different categories. But when they surprised me, I thought I was in trouble. I was called to the, I was like, oh my
Got
goodness.
called to
I
the
was like,
principal's
what
office.
did I do? You know, my students were in on it. But I'm very honored. I'm very humbled. I work with an amazing group of people. Like I said, it's a special community, so that they chose me to carry this honor and represent them. It's special to me.
Cool. Ms. Patton, you have the opportunity to visit her room every day. Tell us, what is it that you hear, see, or feel when you visit?
Definitely, it's a very welcoming classroom, not just for the students, but also for myself. She welcomes support, feedback. What you're going to see is a lot of interaction between Mrs. Ooms and her students, but also between the students. A lot of collaboration. If it's math time, they have manipulatives out. If it's reading block, they're marking up text. So a lot of, it's just very interactive in our classroom, so that the students are getting that depth of knowledge.
Ms. Ooms, tell us, is there an influential person in your life that kind of guides how you work every day?
Oh, absolutely. My mother. So, may sound cliche, but however, I grew up in the school system, so to speak. She started off as a language facilitator at John I. Leonard High School in Green Acres, Florida, and she worked her way up to dean, and now she's a school counselor at Palmetto Elementary down south. And she always told me, you should be a teacher, you should be a teacher. I'm like, oh, Mom, you know, I grew up, I watched it all, and I love it. But I think I went and I tried every field before that. But she pushes me every day to be who I am. And she is a constant reminder that it takes everyone, it takes a village. She always taught me to include, from maintenance staff to cafeteria to district workers to bus drivers. Everyone matters.
So what's your most enjoyable part of teaching?
Oh, let's see. When there's something that we have to revisit constantly or more than once, and when you see their light bulb go off, they're like, oh, I got it. But look, I can get it this way. Let me show you another way, or this is how I got there. So when I see them using the skills and the tools that I'm giving them, and they're finding their own path, it means everything to me.
So what has been the defining moment when you realize that you have made the perfect choice being an educator?
So I have 3 children, 15, 13, 2 boys, and an 8-year-old daughter. When I started volunteering at their school and seeing how important it was for family to be involved in the school community and how much it meant to them. You may not see it, they may not say it, especially at this age, but it makes a difference to them to see that you're there and you're advocating and you have their back. And that is what I wanted to be to my students who have families who are not able to do that. Not because they don't want to, but sometimes economically they're just not able to.
So if you can change one thing in education to make an impactful difference, what would it be and why?
I would change, I would do everything I could to help families be able to be more involved in their child's education. You know, there are more programs outside of school hours for parents to come to, weekends, evenings. You know, I think we do a lot of that at school ourselves, where we have family nights and we welcome the opportunity for them to come and just sit with them and say, ask questions. What do you need? What can we do for you to help you to be more involved in your child's life?
Ms. Patton, describe Ms. Ohms for me using 3 adjectives and tell me why.
All right. I would say the first is definitely a very dedicated person. She's dedicated to her family. She's talked about them. She's dedicated to her students, but also to the community. She's very involved, you know, through her kids with Scouts and other organizations. And she's also dedicated to our staff and our, you know, through our Sunshine Committee. She is very relational, again, with, you know, all stakeholders at Weatherby. And I think one really big thing is that she's open-minded, meaning that she's got that growth mindset. She's always looking to know more, learn more, and change if that's what she needs to do.
Cool, cool. If I ask you, Ms. Patton, to describe Ms. Ohms using a hashtag,
Okay.
what would your hashtag for her be? And tell us why.
I'm going to say hashtag overcomer because she's one that she, you know, there's no challenge that's going to stop her in working with her kids, but also with the family. She's going out, if she needs to go out to the kids' home, you know, to bring them a holiday gift or something, you know, she's done that, supporting the families, over, you know, helping them to overcome challenges. But even for herself personally this year, she's had a rough year, had emergency surgery. While she's waiting in the hospital, she's texting me like, hey, I'm sorry I'm not going to be there tomorrow, you know. And so she's just, whatever challenge is thrown her way, she's going to overcome it.
It was state testing.
Oh, yeah, it was state testing, but you're really in the hospital.
I
Okay.
teach 3rd grade.
Yeah, you do. Those scores are important, aren't they?
Exactly.
We appreciate your dedication, as
Thank
we've heard
you.
earlier. What advice would you give to a new teacher?
Oh, be a sponge. Soak it all in. Don't take offense or don't take anything personal when people are giving you constructive criticism. Don't be bothered if people are coming into your classroom or you're asking why, or did I do something wrong? I did it as a first-year teacher. But just be open, ask. I come to Miss Patton and I ask her all the time, hey, was everything okay? Or is there something I can do different? What do you think? Take in the feedback, take it all in, ask questions, invite people from district into your classroom.
What do you consider to be one of the greatest challenges facing education today?
Facing education, well, we have a shortage of teachers, but also a community involvement. You know, I think it's not just the families, but we need to get our businesses, our communities, those around us involved, show them what's going on. You know, have them come out and speak about what they do. You know, I tried probably every other profession I could. I did a year of nursing school, healthcare administration, human resources. But it all came down to education. Some of these people don't have the education or have the skills or the needs to bring, you know, everyone together or to do the job that they need. So, you know, really get everyone involved. Show them what can be done, what they do for a living.
Speed round.
Oh.
I'll throw a few out. You
Okay.
give the answers. Favorite food?
Oh, boneless buffalo wings.
Really?
Yeah. Hey, football. Sunday football every day.
Oh, okay.
Well,
okay.
she knows I'm a huge football fan. So.
Favorite restaurant?
Cracker Barrel.
Favorite movie?
Sweet Home Alabama.
Sports team?
Giants NFL, Longhorns, Hook 'em Horns.
Okay. Favorite song?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Okay. I like hard ones.
Yeah. I don't know if I could anything Lainey Wilson. I'll leave it at that.
Okay. As your selection as the Teacher of the Year at Weatherby automatically makes you their ambassador for education. What's your message?
Progress over perfection. Don't give up. Don't stop going. Just because it seems hard, just the power of yet. My first year in Port St. Lucie or St. Lucie County, our principal at the time, really the district, pushed the magic of yet, the book. So just because you don't get it right now doesn't mean you're not going to get it eventually. You haven't gotten it yet. Give yourself time.
So, Ms. Patton, what makes Ms. Ohms the perfect candidate for this honor?
I would say one thing I've learned as a leader in hiring is you know the difference between skill and will. And actually she has both. She's got skill because of her experiences leading up to becoming a teacher outside of school, but that willingness that she's even kind of talked about is like that willingness to change if we need to, willingness to take that feedback and not take it personal, but see that as a growth opportunity. And that's what really makes her an amazing teacher.
Share with us your prop.
Oh, okay. Well, I have two.
Okay.
They said two. Okay. So my first one is a coffee mug. It says, "Thank you, teachers." This actually was a gift from a student. You know, I need this to energize my students to learn every day. But seriously, it is a constant reminder that they need me. Just as much as I need coffee, they need me every day. Daily consistency.
Even when you're in the hospital.
Even when I'm in the hospital,
Gotcha.
absolutely. They need to
Gotcha.
know. Like
Especially then, because it's state tested.
It was, and I always bring them Dunkin' on testing days, and I didn't have it, so I made sure it got there.
Okay, okay.
And then my second one, I thought long and hard of it, and I brought different shades of purple. Harold and the Purple Crayon was one of my favorite books because Harold got to draw the world as he saw it. He used his imagination to create it the way he wanted to see it. And there's no reason why our kids can't do that in real life. And I think it's important for them to know that.
Ladies, Ms. Patton, Ms. Ohms, thank you so much for sharing with us. And congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year.
Thank you for having us.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
Thank
Been a
you.
pleasure.
Thank you.
We are St. Lucie Public Schools. We are accoladed, recognized, accredited, merited. We are innovators, builders, career-driven, future-forward leaders. We are community-focused, partners, mentors, contributors. We are historic, unique, extraordinary, admired. We are champions, energetic, competitive, game changers. We are artists, dancers, designers, musicians. We are diverse, inclusive, collaborative, empowering. We are caregivers, protectors, supportive, attentive. Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
We are excited to welcome to our studio at this time to talk with the wonderful Ms. Courtney Collins, the dynamic Teacher of the Year over at Lawnwood Elementary School. Ms. Collins, welcome.
Thank you.
She's brought along with her my good friend, the woman that taught me how to be an assistant principal, the dynamic, proud principal at Lawnwood, Miss Felicia Nixon. Nick, welcome.
All right, good morning, Dr. Perry.
You're here. It's a pleasure to speak with both of you. Ms. Collins, a little bit about me. I was Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie Public Schools in the dark ages, many, many moons ago. But we actually enjoy doing this show because it gives us a chance to highlight some of the teachers in the field.
Right.
Because you represent some of the brightest and best that we know near and far. So with that, would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
My name is Courtney Collins. I've been teaching for a little over 17 years. I started at Lawnwood. Miss Nixon hired me fresh out of college. So I am married and I have 2 kids. I taught at Lawnwood for a handful of years. I made my way across to Port St. Lucie, taught there for a little while. I taught in private school for about 5 years, and then I came back to St. Lucie, where I started teaching back at a school in Port St. Lucie, but it just didn't feel like home. So
you went back home?
I went back home.
Cool.
Back at Lawnwood.
Awesome.
Yes.
Ms. Nixon, briefly introduce yourself.
Good morning. I'm Felicia Nixon, and I've been a principal here in this district for the past 20 years, and yes, 20 years as a principal. And I'm happy to be the principal of Longwood Elementary, and I've had the pleasure to work with Ms. Collins for, oh my goodness, Courtney, for about 12 years.
It's been a while now.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, cool. Again, welcome to our show. So, Ms. Collins, what do you make of this honor of being selected as Teacher of the Year by your colleagues?
I mean, it's really a privilege because I feel like the teachers at Longwood work so incredibly hard. So to be named Teacher of the Year amongst my colleagues it's a blessing. I mean, to be honored to represent them is a huge honor in itself, and it makes me grateful for having this opportunity to represent and show what our school is and how amazing it is.
Have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Yes and no.
Okay.
My grandmother had a daycare when she was younger, or when I was younger, and I got to kind of rule the roost there and play teacher. And my aunt would always say, "You're going to be a teacher," and I'd say, "No, I'm not." So in hindsight, really, I think it was meant to be.
So who do you think is an influence in you about how you work with children, about being an educator?
Well, definitely my grandmother with the daycare that she had. She had 8 kids and 22 grandkids, and so that was the reason she had a daycare, was to help allow the grandkids to have a place to go. And so she just had so much patience and kindness, and it just really set I feel like my tone of what I strive to have and be as a person.
So,
Patience and kindness. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, that was it. That was it.
So Ms. Nixon, you get to watch Ms. Collins every day.
Yes.
Walk us through in her classroom. What would we feel? What will we see here?
So when you visit Ms. Collins' class, you will always see kids interacting with each other. It definitely is a community wherein the students interact with each other, they interact with the teacher, and the students are empowered to share their thoughts, their ideas, their opinions. And Courtney is really big on community involvement, and she's really big on history, and for the kids to know their history and to know Florida history, to know the history of St. Lucie County. And so the students are always discussing current events. There's always social studies, if you will, tone in that classroom. Kids are always aware of current events, and they're always able to discuss that and write about it. And she does a wonderful job as an ELA teacher of providing kids the opportunity to express themselves and then transfer that into the writing experience as well. So they have ample opportunity to truly practice the processing with a partner and sharing ideas, and also getting those ideas onto paper.
Ms. Collins,
Yes, sir.
when did you first fall in love with teaching?
I think that it was just finding the success in the classroom, being in the classroom. I mean, I always loved teaching, but I think as I watched like the fruits of my labor appear and grow, and seeing students achieve and seeing my students grow as adults. Like I have a student that I taught that he's about to graduate from college, and hearing his mother text me and contact me about how his success and how I made an impact on him as a teacher, it just really like warms my heart and makes me grateful to do what I do daily.
What do you think is one of the most important or the greatest challenges facing education?
Parental involvement, having parents be involved. I mean, it takes a village to raise a child, and parents need to be involved, whether it's just regular contact with the teacher, checking grades, being involved. Parents need to be involved, and we don't have enough of that, or we just need parents to be involved in general, especially our school. It's such a big thing to have the community parental involvement. And so that is, I think, one of the biggest things.
So, Ms. Nixon, describe Ms. Collins for me, 3 adjectives,
Okay.
and tell me why those 3.
Courtney is very compassionate about teaching and learning, and she's super tech savvy when it comes to supporting the students and her colleagues. And she loves to share her tech savvy and her tech knowledge even with me, and I love it when she shares that learning with me and of course staff members as well. So I've mentioned 2. She's very compassionate, she's tech savvy, and she's super resourceful. Very resourceful teacher. She knows how to utilize community resources. She knows how to utilize different materials, and she's aware of different curriculum resources that other people may not be aware of. So she's super resourceful in that way. She's definitely a teacher leader that is dependable, and we definitely rely on her for much more than what I mentioned. But if you just ask for 3, I'm just going to give you 3. But definitely, Courtney is a trusted, reliable teacher leader on our campus.
Tell me 3 adjectives and how trusted and reliable. But tell me, down to the core, what makes her the perfect candidate for this honor?
Well, Courtney understands school, and she understands the overall school community. And she definitely contributes to Longwood being a safe, healthy learning environment. So when I think about a teacher leader and a teacher of the year, not only does she make a great contribution to her classroom and her grade level team and her department, but that also overflows into the overall school community. She is the leader of our SAC team. She goes overboard when it comes to parent pickup, for example. She stays overtime to make sure that every child is in their car, and that even on rainy days, which is not a popular day for parent pickup, Miss Dr. Perry. I have to say that no one likes parent pickup on a rainy day, but you will find that Miss Collins extends herself because she's out there in her rain suit and her galoshes out there helping kids get in their car to make it home safe. So she extends herself both personally and professionally for her students and for the sake of the entire campus, to make sure that all of the students are safe, healthy, and that they're thriving at our school.
So I've heard Ms. Nixon talk about you. I'm going to ask you to talk about yourself. What makes you a good teacher?
I think I want the kids to know that they're more than just a test score. I tell them to focus on being a good person, because if you're a good person, you work hard, you do your best, you're kind, you have patience, and all of that comes together to helps the kids understand, like, I can do my best. If I am a good person, I will work hard. I will do the best I can, no matter what it is, no matter if it's a test. And all of that comes full circle when it does come to testing, because I mean, testing is a big part of education. So I want the kids to know and to try their best to be just a good person overall.
Speed round.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
throw out some favorites. You give it back to me, okay?
Okay.
Favorite restaurant?
Taco dive.
Favorite food?
Well, tacos.
They kind of go hand in hand,
Yeah,
don't they? Yeah,
right.
yeah. Favorite movie?
The Devil Wears Prada. That's a good one.
That's all.
That's my favorite.
Favorite sports team?
The Dolphins.
Okay. Favorite song?
I like the song All For You by Sister Hazel. It's a good one.
So, as the teacher of the year for Longwood Elementary, you automatically become their ambassador for education. Having an opportunity to speak to the superintendent, school board members, the community, what would be your message?
It's a community effort. Everybody needs to buy into the whole process. I mean, we all are part of it. Parents, community leaders, teachers, all of us. In order to find success in our schools, we all have to be involved. We all have to have the know of what's going on and just be ready to do what it takes to find success in our schools. It takes a village, and we need everybody to be a part of it.
So, Ms. Nixon,
Yes.
anything else you want to share about your dynamic teacher of the year?
Well, when it comes to instruction, this young lady definitely knows how to ensure that all students are achieving in her classroom. And she does a great job of differentiating, utilizing various instructional tools to make sure that kids are learning and that they're making learning gains. So, you know, when we think about the art and science of teaching, Courtney definitely is a learner, and she's willing to take on different professional learning opportunities so that she is ready and equipped to provide the best learning opportunities for her students. So she's very serious about this profession, and she comes to work ready to teach and to provide her students with the best education that she can. And so she's very serious about this, and she does her very best every day. So she definitely is a star educator.
So, star educator, we ask you to bring a prop and tell us why that's important to you, meaningful to you as an educator.
All right, I brought a prop.
Okay.
I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, what is this? So this is a picture from my first year teaching. And at Longwood, I was the first year teacher of the year.
Wow.
And it really just, I mean, it sits on my desk and it shows me how I've grown as an educator. And it just brings me full circle back to where I'm meant to be. So it sat at my desk my entire teaching career. And the crazy thing is this little girl right here, she was my son's teacher assistant last year. So, you know, just to see the fruits of your labor grow and, you know, it just makes me happy.
Ms. Nixon, Ms. Collins, thank you for sharing with us. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you
and
very
congratulations again on your selection as the
Thank
Teacher of the
you.
Year for Longwood Elementary School.
Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Joining us at this time for our highlight show where we turn the spotlight on education and educators, the awesome Teacher of the Year from Morningside Elementary School, Ms. Jennifer Black. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
She's brought along a dear friend of mine that I met some years ago when I was subbing as a principal, who's the proud principal over at Morningside, Ms. Foreman. Welcome.
It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure to speak with both of you.
Thank you.
We're always excited when we have an opportunity to do this show because it gives us a chance to share with our community some of the dynamic educators that we have in St. Lucie Public Schools. And we let them know that you represent the brightest and the best near and far. With that said, Ms. Black, would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
Sure. So I actually grew up in this area. I went to Lincoln Park Academy for high school, and I graduated, and then I went to FAU for college. And I'm going to graduate in March with my master's degree from ACE as well.
Good, good.
So I've been teaching for 13 years altogether, and I've been teaching at Morningside for 5 years in first grade.
So homegrown. Mm-hmm. Okay, okay.
Yep.
We love it when they come back. Okay.
I'm
Ms.
not
Foreman,
leaving. I've been here.
Great. Ms. Foreman, would you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Valerie Foreman. I have been with St. Lucie Public Schools for 15 years, also an alumni of American College of Education, and I am the proud principal of Morningside Elementary.
She's not just the principal. You heard her, right?
She's definitely
the proud
proud.
principal.
Yep.
So, what do you make of this honor of being selected as Teacher of the Year by your colleagues?
It's a very humbling experience and very unexpected. It's a huge honor, and I love the people that we work with. We're a very tight-knit Blue Jay family at Morningside, so it's definitely an honor to be nominated.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a teacher?
Actually, I think so. When I was younger, I used to line up my dolls and my toys in my
one
room.
of those, okay.
Yeah, pretend like I was teaching them, and then it just kind of was instilled. I fell in love with teaching when I was in 2nd grade. My teacher and I formed a really close bond, and since then, when I never changed what I wanted to do. As soon as I went into college, I knew exactly what I wanted to become.
So you briefly mentioned your 2nd grade teacher. Tell us about someone that might have influenced you to be an educator. Would it be that teacher?
It definitely was that teacher, and I also think my mom. My mom was a huge influence in my life. She was a single mom, and my sister and I were teenagers, which was a very rough time, as you know, when teenagers. But she was always motivating us and inspiring us to follow our dreams and never giving up on us. So she's definitely my best friend to this day.
So what's most enjoyable to you about teaching?
On a daily basis, I love having the passion for learning in my classroom and seeing the curiosity and the eagerness from my students. It really motivates me to continue to create lesson plans that are relevant and engaging for them in the classroom. And it's fun. It's a fun, we always have fun in the classroom.
So, Ms. Foreman, give us a peek into Ms. Black's classroom. What do we hear, see?
I will say that when you go into Ms. Black's classroom, you really do hear a lot of low buzz engagement. What I really like about her class is that she really does encourage the students to do a lot of the talking. They're the ones that are using that academic vocabulary. They are encouraging one another to stay on track and motivate each other and keep pushing through.
So, Ms. Black, what inspires you?
I think instilling a curiosity for learning in my students that can be used beyond the classroom. When they get into upper grades and beyond the classroom and into the community, and just being able to see them come back to me and say, hey, I remember you as my teacher, and just being able to see them grow and move on from 1st grade classroom.
What do you think is one of the greatest challenges facing education?
I would have to say probably educational inequality. I think it's very difficult when you have geographical boundaries or technological boundaries for the students, and those kind of can hinder sometimes the ability for students to reach their full potential.
Ms. Foreman, describe Ms. Black for me using 3 adjectives and tell me why those 3.
Okay, let's go motivational. So she can motivate her most struggling of readers to feel that they are empowered and that they can develop those skills. She can motivate her high achievers to push to new levels, and she can motivate fellow educators to continue to grow. I would also say that she's eccentric. She's always got some kind of a themed wardrobe going on, whether it's the big, cute, fun earrings, but that's just what they like in that primary grade, and that eccentricness is accompanied with that personality that is just bigger than this world, and that's what keeps kids engaged and motivated in learning. And then the other one I would say is very knowledgeable. As she has mentioned, she has just finished her master's degree, and she really does use that knowledge to help students learn to read and to write, and continue to push her colleagues to do so as well.
Ms. Foreman, what makes her the perfect candidate for this honor?
I would say it's her adaptability. She really can work in any type situation. She has that ability to be flexible on the spot and not just support her students, but to support the colleagues of others. She also really is very multidimensional in doing things outside of the classroom.
Ms. Black, if you could change one thing in education to make an impactful difference, what might that be?
I think a lot of our students nowadays are going through a lot of things that is hard for us as adults to understand. So I think emotional intelligence is something that is important for us to kind of integrate in our curriculum to help students deal with the stresses and anxiety and other mental struggles that they go through.
What do you regard as one of your most personal professional achievements?
Well, I would definitely say being, honored as Teacher of the Year at one of the best schools in the county is right up there. Definitely one.
She made sure we knew that. One of the best schools. Yes, I agree.
The best, the premier destination.
Okay,
definitely.
No fight for me. Ms. Foreman, if I ask you to describe her using a hashtag, share with us what that would be and why.
Hashtag empowering educators. Because while she does great work in the classroom, and that is so important, she also does great work with other educators, not just on her team, but throughout the school. She is always sharing new, innovating ideas, whether it's ways to help increase attendance with us. Attendance is a big initiative. We know that if students are not at school, they're not learning. And she has found so many unique ways to help to promote attendance within her classroom, but then she's sharing that school-wide with others. She's looking for ways to help motivate students who have those other boundaries with her emotional intelligence, and she's sharing those strategies with her colleagues.
So your selection as the Teacher of the Year automatically qualifies you as the Ambassador for Education for Morningside. You have an opportunity to speak to lawmakers, to the superintendent. What might your message be?
I think that education is the cornerstone of a thriving society. So I think it's important to keep our teachers empowered and to make sure that they feel like they are heard and seen. I think our community does a great job with that and our society as a whole.
Speed round. You ready?
I'm
I'll
ready.
throw out and you give me the response.
All right.
Favorite restaurant?
Spritz in downtown Stewart.
Don't know that one. Okay.
It's close to me, so
Okay.
I go there often.
Favorite food?
Lasagna.
Favorite movie?
A Beautiful Mind.
Favorite sports team?
Georgia Bulldogs. I know they lost, but
Why Georgia Bulldogs?
I actually visit Georgia quite often with both of my kids. It's one of our little things that are near and dear to our hearts, and we go there once a year. So one of the little towns we always go to, that's their team that they support. So it's kind of a fun thing that.
Good answer. Good answer. Good answer. I was rooting for him last night too.
Yeah.
Favorite song?
That's a difficult one. I have a lot of favorite songs. I'm a country girl at heart, so I have a lot of country songs that I like. So
Ms. Foreman, is there anything else that you want to share with us about Ms. Black?
I would just say that Miss Black really is a whole child experience, not just in her classroom, but outside. She, in addition to her classroom and supporting our school, she's also doing Girls on the Run. So she's very active in our community. She's active, and I know when we think of Girls on the Run, we think about athletics, but there's so much more to that program, and it really does do such a great job of motivating and empowering girls as they try to find their identity and try to really collaborate together.
So, Ms. Black, we ask you to bring up a prop and share with us why it's important to you as an educator. Would you do that at this time?
Sure. So I actually brought a weight because speaking of, when she said being Girls on the Run. So I enjoy working out. I work out on a daily basis, and I think that also translates to the classroom because I have goals, personal goals, and then I have goals in the classroom. So it kind of translates strengths in the gym and working out and also strengths in my classroom. That kind of helps me motivate my students and keep them inspired as well.
Ladies, it's been a pleasure having this opportunity to speak with both of you this morning. Ms. Foreman, great seeing you. Ms. Black, congratulations on your selection as a Teacher of the Year.
It's an honor being here. I appreciate it.
Keep inspiring.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are St. Lucie Public Schools. We are accoladed, recognized, accredited, merited. We are innovators, builders, career-driven, future-forward leaders. We are community-focused, partners, mentors, contributors. We are historic, unique, extraordinary, admired. We are champions, energetic, competitive, game changers. We are artists, dancers, designers, musicians. We are diverse, inclusive, collaborative, empowering. We are caregivers, protectors, supportive, attentive. Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
At this time, we're pleased and honored to welcome Ms. Cherry Maxson to the show, who is the dynamic, proud, wonderful Teacher of the Year over at Del Casson. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Perry. It's an honor to be here today.
She's brought along the proud principal of Del Casson, Mr. Gerald Early. We call him Jerry. Mr. Early, welcome.
Yes, thank you for having us.
It's a pleasure to have this opportunity to speak with you. We delight in every opportunity that we have to introduce some of the teachers to our community because we know that we have some of the brightest and best near and far. With that said, Ms. Maxson, briefly introduce yourself to our viewers.
Well, good morning, everyone, and again, thank you for having me. My name is Sherry Maxson, and I'm born and raised in Pittsburgh. Came to Florida in 1998, where I met my husband, who's also a St. Lucie County teacher and coach. We have 3 beautiful children, all St. Lucie County. 1 graduate, 2 are about to graduate this year for Fort Pierce Central. Proud to say that they'll be going to Lynn University. Also, I have a background in education. 24 years I've currently been in education. I have a master's in educational leadership, and I also have bachelor's of science from Duquesne University. So I'm currently a graduation coach for the past 3 years of those 24.
Awesome, awesome.
For alternative ed.
Mr. Early, would you introduce yourself to our viewers, please?
Yes, I'm Jerry Early. I'm on year 30. I've started in Dade County. I've moved as far west as Alaska. And now I'm back home in St. Lucie County, starting year 30 this year. I started out as a classroom teacher. I've been in HR as an HR staffing director and assistant principal, and now the principal at Del Casson.
Again, welcome, both of you. So, Ms. Maxson, what do you make of this honor of being selected as Teacher of the Year by your colleagues?
First of all, I'm very humbled, but I'm honored that my colleagues would choose me as their Teacher of the Year at Del Casson's. I work with an amazing group of teachers and administrators, so I'm very honored.
Have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Actually, Dr. Perry, I didn't. There was a time in my life when I wasn't really sure. I wanted to leave school and just start work, go into the workforce. So where that would have led me, I'm not sure. But I didn't always know I was going to become a teacher. I guess God had other plans for me.
I'm sure He did, and we're glad you're here. So, thinking about your journey, do you think that there might have been someone in your past that influenced how you interact with students?
Yes, sir. And actually someone that greatly impacted my life so much that he changed the whole trajectory of my life. As I stated, I wasn't sure I was going to go to college. And a teacher of mine, Mr. Colley, he actually pulled me aside and took the time. He had a belief in me so great. Dr. Perry, he said to me, "You owe it to the world to go to college." And that changed my life and the reason I'm here today before you. So that belief in me was something that 18-year-old self didn't have.
So share with us this idea of the work of a graduation coach.
Well, Dr. Perry, it's an honorable profession. I get to sit with our youth, and with my graduation sheet, we outline all the goals necessary to achieve their graduation, which is based on their testing, their GPA, and the 2 tests are math and reading, and then also their course completions. So we outline their future and show them how they can achieve their goals. It's a very special and rewarding career.
Mr. Early, you have an opportunity to watch Ms. Maxson work with those students every day. In your unique setting, share with us what is you see when she's in her element.
I see exactly that. I see a person doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing. One of the things that people don't realize about our situation and our site is that kids come to us underprepared for graduation. They come to us not getting back to their comprehensive campus until they've met all the requirements for graduation. So all of the time and the care that she puts into those kids, with whether it's pathway to graduation events or opportunities just to meet one-on-one with kids, every child that she sends back to a comprehensive campus or graduates from performance-based does so positively. Everyone that she impacts positively. And I think that's what's most rewarding. Everything she does, she impacts the district.
Describe Ms. Maxson for us using 3 adjectives and tell us why those 3.
Passionate, driven, and caring. The reason that they're all combined is if you spend any time, you can see the passion. She tells kids, don't make graduation be more important to me than it is to you. She puts the time in, she invests, she is caring. She does believe in our statement as a district that every child is capable of success and no exceptions. She believes that. She wears it on her pin every day. She's that person.
Okay. So, Ms. Maxon, what makes you a good teacher?
I think a lot of things go into being a good teacher, but number one, I do believe in my students. When I sit across from them, I believe in them wholeheartedly. I also believe dedication to my pedagogy, always wanting to be better, learning. I'm a lifelong learner, Dr. Perry. I feel like I've learned so much in St. Lucie County, but also planning, strategic planning, as Bridget Hargadine would say. You always need to plan. So, but number one, that relationship that you build with the student. That's why I led with belief. If a student doesn't believe that you care, they don't really care how much you know. So they really have to trust you. So building relationships is key to your success.
What do you consider to be one of the most pressing challenges in education today?
Well, Dr. Perry, definitely one of the pressing challenges in education is the competition with media, the outside technology, keeping students engaged and motivated in face of TikTok and Instagram and them gaming all night. So we really have to be innovative, and we have to continue to always progress, because their lives are changing a mile a minute, so we need to keep up. So,
Mr. Early, what makes Ms. Maxon the perfect candidate for this honor?
She's an influencer, right? She has worked with our kids for the last 3 years. She's worked with performance-based students for the last 3 years. I understand that graduation rate has increased by about 20% in that same 3 years. Every student that goes back to a comprehensive campus that she's interacted with positively impacts their graduation rate. So she's one of very few people that actually influence the graduation rate of the district. So I think that really sets her aside from the other great candidates, is that we have someone sitting with us that impacts the district.
I ask you to describe her using 3 adjectives, but if I ask you to describe her using a hashtag, what would that be, and tell us why? Hashtag whatever, tell us.
My first thought was hurricane. And when we talked about it, she wasn't so confident in that because it brings destruction. But it's implied to be a force. She's a force. So we changed it from hurricane to hashtag force. Because when she interacts with a parent, with a student, with a family, with a teacher, with a colleague, she leaves her mark. She leaves her mark about belief. She leaves her mark about compassion. She leaves her mark that she was there to get this child across the finish line. Kids come to us with no hope. They've made a bad decision and they end up with us. We give them that hope. She gives them that hope and sends them back as a proud graduate.
So what is it that you say to those students to help ensure that they will be a success?
Well, visible learning is important. Never underestimate the power of see it, believe it, achieve it. So the first thing we do is we set before them what they need. It's important that they see what they need, but they also need to know the action steps. How can I do this? The why. Why is this important? So really taking the time to show them. And it's step by step. Sometimes it's not always at one time. It can be very overwhelming. If I come and I feel broken, if I've given up hope, people have given up on me, the last thing I want is somebody putting everything to me at one time. Mm-hmm. So sometimes breaking it up into smaller bites, digestible bites, so that they can really understand. And those achievements, once they overcome that hurdle, then you get the buy-in little by little. And that really helps to move them along and motivate them. But looking them in the eye and knowing that you're real and that you believe in them can really make a difference in a child's life.
So let's have some fun. Let's play a speed round. Okay. I'll throw some out at you and you give us the response. Favorite restaurant? Diviotos, North Miami. Okay, we're gonna have to travel to North Miami, right?
Like it.
So it sounds like a trip. Favorite food?
Chicken marsala.
Favorite movie?
Forrest Gump. It's really about a story of overcoming and positive attitude no matter what comes your way.
Gotcha.
That's why I really enjoy that.
Favorite sports team?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
You know what? Don't you love them? I love that. That's my team.
My Pittsburgh
That's my team.
Steelers.
That's my team.
You won't hear us yelling.
Favorite song?
I Hope You Dance, Leanne Womack, from my
The
mother.
original. Oh, yeah. Yeah, know it well. Know it well. Yeah. Mr. Early, we're over here playing and having fun. Okay, is there anything else you want to share about Sherry Maxson?
The last thing I'd like to share is Mrs. Maxson is one of those people that doesn't realize how great she is. She's very humble. She's so dedicated, but she walks around with no chip, no arrogance, with humility. She's great, but she doesn't know that she's great.
Ms. Maxson, share with us your prop.
Well, I'm so proud. Believe it's really a way of life at Dale Cassens. We believe in our students, we believe in one another, but we have humility. So we believe that, we know that we live in an imperfect world, but we're all doing just that little bit to contribute to make it a better place. So this Believe pin, I wear it everywhere. It's usually on, I didn't wear what I normally wear.
Your lanyard? Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
because I'm on the TV, but this is with me everywhere.
Cool.
And this is my belief in my students and their families and letting them know I'm there for them. This is a team, I believe. So this shell, and I don't know if you can see it, but this was given to me from my administration. This reminds me of how much they believe in me, and they empower me to what I do every single day. They always have my back. Amazing what administration I work for, definitely. And then this right here, this was the first thing, and this brought me to tears. This Believe, it's my rock, but this is my rock, my God. My belief in my God, because through God, all this is possible. He's given me my gifts that I get to share with everyone. So this reminds me of who my rock is every day, the belief I have in my God.
Ms. Maxson, Mr. Early, thank you for sharing with us. Congratulations on your
Thank you so
selection
much,
as
Dr.
Teacher of the
Perry.
Year. And my final to you was don't stop believing.
Thank you.
Alrighty.
Yes, sir.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
We are so excited at this time to welcome to our show Miss Ayanna Jason, who's the Dynamic Teacher of the Year over at Forest Grove Middle School.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
She's brought along with her our friend, the proud principal there. We just call her Bobo, but her name is Keanisha Bobo. Miss Bobo, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
I'm excited to have this opportunity to speak with you for a couple of reasons. I don't know if you know, but back in the dark ages, I was the Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie Public Schools, but I was also the first band director at Forest Grove when it opened on the Manatee campus.
Did not know that.
Yes, I go way back, way back, way back. I actually did double duty. I was at Forest Grove in the morning and Westwood in the afternoon. Yeah, so I'm a bulldog, just
Once
like
a bulldog,
always.
always a
Yes,
bulldog.
yes. But Miss Jason,
Yes.
what we want to do is give our audience a peek into some of the lives of some of the dynamic educators that we have in St. Lucie County, because we're proud of the teachers that we have here. We know that you represent some of the brightest and the best educators near and far. So would you briefly describe yourself, give us a little bit about your background to our viewers?
Of course. I'm Ayanna Jason, and I'm a fourth-year teacher at Forest Grove. I did start out as a VPK teacher. However, the littles have a lot of germs, so it wasn't for me. But since I moved to middle school, I love it.
Cool. You got to be a special person to love middle school. You got to be different.
That is true. That is true. That is true.
Miss Keanisha Bobo, would you do the same? Introduce yourself, please.
I am the very proud principal of Forest Grove Middle School. This is my third year. I've worked and had the pleasure of working with Miss Jason all 3 years, and I'm really excited for everyone to learn about how amazing she is, because I already know.
All right. So, what did you make of this honor of being selected as a Teacher of the Year for the Grove?
First off, it was very humbling, I would say, to see your dedication, your hard work recognized by your colleagues. So I'm gratefully appreciative of that always. And I'm just excited to be here.
Have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Yes, so I wish I would have brought it, but I couldn't find it. But I have a picture from preschool in the Imagination Center as a teacher. Like, I've always wanted to be a teacher. My mom is a teacher. My family is a lot of educators. So it's just always been my dream.
So who might be one of your greatest or a few of your greatest inspirations, influences as an educator?
I would say my parents are my biggest influences. While, you know, they did give up a lot to come here, I am a first-generation American. I am greatly appreciative of everything they've done to get me to this point. My mom, of the two, I would say, is my biggest role model because she is constantly showing that she is a model as not only a Black woman, but an educator, a wife, a mother, a teacher. My parents have faced a lot of adversity through the years, and a few years ago I lost my brother, and despite that, she has finished her degree, she continues her education, and she has always shown me that no matter what you do in life, to be committed to everything.
Tell me, what's your most enjoyable part of teaching?
It is very rewarding. I think the most enjoyable part is celebrating the small wins every day. Because with the kids that we have, we don't always see immediate big wins, but the small wins are what makes an impact, and to see them achieve and reach the goals that they set for themselves.
So, Ms. Bobo, you get to watch the magic happen in Ms. Jason's classes every day. Give us a peek into the class.
She's very consistent, especially in middle school. You know, she has 8th grade students. She does phenomenal with them, but they strive for structure. So she's very structured. She has a classroom that is rich in literary elements of all kinds. I love visiting her room. I tell her that every time I come there. She has books. It's very engaging. It's very calm. She never raises her voice. Respect is at the door. She greets her students as they come in. They love her, they respect her, and they work for her. One thing that I really can say about her is that she's very reflective. So even with the toughest students, every day is a new day, and she always comes in with the mind, okay, this happened yesterday, this was a situation, okay, what can I do to make this situation better tomorrow? And it really works for her because she does have a lot of our challenging students, but they work for her, they behave for her, and they want to do better because of her. So it's a great thing to see. I'm probably jumping ahead, but there was one student who I had a really close relationship with. And she was a lot, you know, beautiful girl, had full potential, you know, I think you know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. And she was challenging. And she and Miss Jason, like Miss Jason was the one teacher she could not run over. She could not do what she wanted to do in her class, which is a lot of times the thing she shouldn't be doing. And we would go back and forth, me and this student, about Miss Jason, and I'm like, no, she has her rules, that's her classroom, you need to conform to her rules and her expectations. And somehow she got a schedule change, and it made her go to another class. And she came to me, I would never forget this. She came to me, I was at lunch duty, and she said, you know, I miss Miss Jason. And I was like, really? And I'm like, never would have thought you would say that. I said, you begged me, and this was towards the end of the year. She had credit recovery, so her schedule got changed out of Miss Jason's class. And I'm like, you berated me every day to get out of Miss Jason's class. Now you miss Miss Jason? And she was like, you know what? She said, Miss Bobo, even though we had our differences and she was really tough on me, she was hard on me, and she would not let anything go that I did, I needed that. And she said, and I was learning in her class, and I knew I was learning. And she was like, I said, so if you had the opportunity, would you go back? She said, in a heartbeat. So I shared that with Miss Jason because I was just like, this student was one of our toughest students, and she wants to be back in your classroom, not because you gave her what she wanted and you dismissed her behavior, but because you held her accountable. And that's saying a lot. And that's just one example, but she has so many. So
if you had to describe her using a hashtag, what would your hashtag for Miss Jason be?
Oh, that's a good question.
It's a good question.
I would say, let me have some thinking time on that one.
Hashtag, you know.
Hashtag powerful.
And tell me why.
Because she has so many different characteristics that when you put them all together, it's power. Whether it be relationships, whether it be academics, whether it be instructional practices, it's power, influence with her colleagues. So there's power behind that.
So, Ms. Jason.
Yes.
Ms. Bobo just described you, but what do you say makes you a great teacher?
I would say what makes me a great teacher is my ability to hold my students accountable, because I can't have high expectations for myself and not have high expectations for them and hold them to those expectations, as well as building relationships. Without the relationships, our students don't learn and they don't grow.
What would you say to a new teacher beginning the career?
My advice would be to be yourself. Just be yourself. Students like to see your personality. They like to get to know you, and with that, they trust you and they feel they are able to learn and they actually hear you. We all know they tune us out a little sometimes, but with those relationships, they are able to learn from you and they are willing to put in the work.
So here's our speed round. I'll throw some out. You give me the response.
Okay.
Favorite food?
Curry chicken. Anything curry.
Anything curry?
Anything curry.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Favorite restaurant?
Ooh, that one's a little bit more difficult. I would say it's more of like anything that's Hispanic, I would say, yeah.
Favorite movie?
The Lion King.
Why?
Oh, ever since I was little, I would walk around with the book so much that I annoyed my parents. Every person that came to the house had to read the book. So the movie, of course, is my favorite.
So Hakuna Matata, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay, wonderful phrase, right? Favorite song?
Favorite song? Square Biz. I listen to it on the way over here. I listen to it several times a day. I play it in the classroom sometimes. It drives the kids crazy, but I love it.
I'm talking Square Biz, that one? Okay,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite sports team?
It's a little, it's a little touch and go right now, but the New York Giants.
Okay, okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, all right. I guess. So, Ms. Bobo, what makes Ms. Jason the perfect candidate for this honor?
I think she represents our school environment perfectly. She is an advocate, and she pretty much is like the catalyst for a lot of great things. She's a mentor, so it's almost like she's like a quiet storm though, because if you ask anyone on our campus about Ms. Jason, she really doesn't talk. And she doesn't talk a lot to a lot of different people, but she has that presence. So it's like when you talk to different people, you'll be surprised of the impact that she's had with them, because it's like she's always like in her own little world, dealing with her kids, but she has a way of just her presence being what people need when they need it, whether it's a colleague or a child. And I think that's exactly what we all embrace about her, and that's really the foundation of our school. We wear so many different hats. I can name a million, but we all just kind of integrate in a way with whatever is needed. You step in, you fill that position, and you keep it moving. And that's what she displays every single day. It doesn't matter if you teach 6th grade, it doesn't matter if you're an elective teacher. She has a way of just being in people's lives in the most calm, not overbearing way, but where people feel comfortable. And I have so many people come to me and say, like, oh, I did this because of Miss Jason, and Miss Jason helped me. But if you were on our campus, she would be the least likely person that you would think that about. So she's like a quiet storm.
So, Ms. Jason,
yes.
Your selection as Teacher of the Year at Forest Grove automatically makes you their ambassador for education.
Yes.
If you had an opportunity to speak to our community, to our board members, what would be your message?
I would say to be involved. First and foremost, parents, to be involved in their kids' lives, their education, and also, those that don't have kids, you can still be involved in the community to help give back and encourage students to make positive changes.
So we ask you to bring along a prop that will have some special meaning for you as an educator. Share that prop with us.
So this is actually a jar I keep on the desk in the front of my room. And the note on it encourages students to write something positive, whether it was a small win that they had, something they did over the weekend, and share it on a Post-it in the jar, and I usually check it occasionally. So one of them that I brought actually is from a student I had last year, and she somehow sent me this. I got it in my mailbox, but it's just, a thank you for helping her grow as a student. I mean, we didn't have the best relationship in the beginning. I have some tough kids, but I was very surprised and honored to receive this in my mailbox. So.
Well, thank you for all the fabulous things that you're doing at Forest Grove. Thank you for bringing your dynamic principal, Ms. Keonisha Bobo, with you today to share with us. And congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year at Forest Grove.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. Bobo, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having us.
We are St. Lucie Public Schools. We are accoladed, recognized, accredited, merited. We are innovators, builders, career-driven, future-forward leaders. We are community-focused, partners, mentors, contributors. We are historic, unique, extraordinary, admired. We are champions, energetic, competitive, game changers. We are artists, dancers, designers, musicians. We are diverse, inclusive, collaborative, empowering. We are caregivers, protectors, supportive, attentive. Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
We're excited to welcome at this time to our show the wonderful Miss Carolyn Collins, who is the Teacher of the Year over at Fort Pierce Central High. Miss Collins, welcome.
Thank you.
She's brought along with her the very proud principal, Mr. Eldrick Gardner. Mr. Gardner, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, we always get excited when we get to do this show. One, because it gives us the opportunity to introduce some of our teachers to our community, to our viewers, because we know that you represent some of the brightest and the best here, near, and far. So with that said, let's give our audience a peek into who Carolyn Collins is. Give us a little bit about your background, please.
Okay, so I was born and raised in New York, and I had, I got my bachelor's degree at Stony Brook, Long Island. I got my master's degree at the College of Staten Island, and I got my professional diploma at St. John's University. And I've been teaching for about 29 years now.
Oh, you're a baby.
I've taught from K to 10, so I've got kind of the whole gamut covered.
Cool, cool. Yeah. Mr. Gardner?
My name is Eldrick Gardner, and I am the proud principal for Pierce Central High School, and I have been the principal there going on 3 years now, and a total of about over 2 decades in education, and it has absolutely been a wonderful journey.
So, Ms. Collins, what do you think of this honor?
I think it's wonderful. I mean, it's always great to be appreciated, and I appreciate being appreciated. But I'm also really proud to represent my school because I love my school. I know that I'm valued at my school, and that really means a lot.
Cool, cool, cool. So thinking it back to this educational journey of 20-something years, as you said, do you think that there might have been a person or persons that influenced you to be an educator and how you work each day?
Yes. My father was an educator. He was a high school math teacher for 20 years. And I just remember as a young child, he would allow me to help him grade his papers, and I was the one to put the zeros on, which I don't put zeros on papers now. That's like another whole conversation, but I enjoyed grading the papers, and the students, this was back in the 70s, they would come to his house and like wash his car and be like, hey, Mr. D, and like he had a very good personal relationship with his kids, and I think seeing that, it was very appealing to me. So
tell me, knowing that you come from an educational background, parents, educators, what is your most enjoyable part of teaching?
My most enjoyable part of teaching is when I run into a student. I mean, besides the daily, you know, the daily thing. When I run into a student like from a while ago, which I just did recently at a doctor's office, and she pulled out a book and said, "Miss Collins, you're the reason why I read as an adult." She's in her 20s now. So leaving that impact on someone and seeing that down the road, that's really, really meaningful to me, and that shows me that I definitely did the right thing.
So, Mr. Gardner, you have an opportunity to witness the magic happen every day. Give us a peek into what we might see or hear once we visit Ms. Collins' class.
If we ever had an opportunity, as I have, to visit Mrs. Collins' class, what you're going to find are highly engaged children who are doing purposeful tasks to get to an outcome that we have seen at Fort Pierce Central, that the students are making learning gains at a rate of 60% of Mrs. Collins' students made a learning gain. That is to say that 60% of our students were the better for having her as their teacher. And we at Fort Pierce Central, we are the better as a campus for having her on our campus as well. So if I had to tell you, you would see highly engaged students putting in great efforts to get to an outcome of success.
So describe her for me using 3 adjectives and tell me why.
If I had to be limited to 3.
You are.
I would say first and foremost, she is purposeful. She's persistent, and not only that, but lastly, she is patient. When we consider students who are taking reading at this level, at the secondary level in high school, they have not come across great success with reading. So it really does take someone who has the patience to give the encouragement and to see them through. And they have to be persistent because, once again, this student has been not experiencing a level of success in reading for a while. And so someone has to be there constantly giving them the reminder that you can. And Mrs. Collins finds herself in that vein. So if I had to use those 3, those are they.
Thank you. Thank you. Purposeful, persistent, and patient. Tell me, when did you first fall in love with teaching?
I think from when I first started student teaching, I knew right away that this was what I wanted to do. I was able to make good connections with the students. I was able to, you know, share my craft, and I was able to make a difference. And once I saw that I was able to make a difference, I'm like, I could really do this and be successful. And seeing the students thrive under my care is really, really quite rewarding. So right from early on, I knew.
Tell me, please, Ms. Collins, what do you consider to be one of the greatest challenges facing education today?
The greatest challenges? I'm going to say cell phones. We really have a very difficult task of teaching students who are very much a part of this, you know, social media, like this pop, pop, pop. You know, they're very much into this quick, fast-paced social media, and we're up against that. So we have to really be very animated. We have to really kind of be caught up with all of the new things that are going on in life in order to keep them interested, because it's really hard to compare to the cell phone. But I think that's the biggest challenge. And I'm really happy that we have this new cell phone law. That's been really helpful.
So with those challenges, when you think back to your dad and the time that you spent grading papers and student teaching, today, what inspires you?
What inspires me? I just feel like from day to day, students that come to me for support, you know, they might not have me that day, but they come and see me because they need to talk to me. Just knowing that I matter and I'm making a difference to students, that they're seeking me out, that they need me. And that really is it makes me feel like I'm being really effective.
So, Mr. Gardner, what makes Ms. Collins the perfect candidate for this honor?
What makes Miss Collins a perfect candidate for this honor is, first and foremost, she is a champion for children and an ambassador of excellence. As she graced our campus in her role as an intensive reading teacher, faculty council member, a reading department chair, or member of the literacy team. And let me also add, she's the academic advisor of the Beta Club, which is a service organization, and we send kids each year. She takes kids each year to states and national, and they are placing. And it's a large student organization. And so to that extent, our campus is the better for having Miss Collins.
So I ask you to describe her using 3 adjectives and tell me why. But if you had to choose one hashtag to describe Ms. Collins and what she does, it would be hashtag what? Tell us.
Hashtag. Well, you know what? You got me with the social media. I'm not of this decade. But if I had to give her a hashtag, it would be hashtag Cobra Teacher of the Year.
Oh, I think we all get it. I think we all get it. So let's play a speed round. I'll throw some things at you, and you give me the answers. Ready?
Okay.
Favorite food?
Pizza. No question.
Easy.
I'm very Italian.
Okay. Favorite restaurant?
Zest Kitchen and Bar.
Okay.
You know why?
Favorite movie?
Hangover. Oops. Sorry.
They gotta go together. What about your favorite sports team?
I'm not a big sports person, but if I had to pick, I guess I'll say Miami Heat.
Okay. As the Teacher of the Year for Fort Pierce Central High School, you are automatically their champion, their ambassador, their voice. If you had an opportunity to speak to, let's say, our school board members about education and what's happening at Central or what's happening in education, lawmakers, what would be your message?
I think teachers have a really, really important role. And anyone could be a teacher and stand up and say, hey, this is what you need to know. But I think in order to be an effective teacher, what's really important is to take into consideration the whole child. So not only do I want you to capture my content, but are you okay socially? Are you okay emotionally? So relationships with students and encouraging them and giving them the tools to be the best version of themselves, academically, socially, emotionally, I think that's the key to education.
So, Ms. Collins, tell me, if you had an opportunity to share with a new teacher, what advice would you offer?
Oh, that's a perfect question because my daughter is a brand new teacher this year in Orlando.
We need her to come home.
Yes,
Okay.
I know. Right. Well, she actually is a graduate from Central,
cool.
And she was in the Promise program, and I wanted her to stay, but she's in Orlando. Anyway, teacher's job is never done. Never finished, and there's always a phone call to make, there's always a lesson plan to make, there's always papers to be filed, but I think the important message is to just do what you can, prioritize, do what's really important, and then when you go home, you gotta let it go, and then next day is a fresh new day. Otherwise it kind of can get really in your head, so you just gotta do what you can and trust that you're doing the right thing.
Another opportunity to get it right.
Exactly.
So, Mr. Gardner, we'll let you have the last word. Is there anything else that we haven't spoken about or that you may want to share about your dynamic Teacher of the Year?
Whenever given an opportunity to say something wonderful about teachers, but specifically Fort Pierce Central and the Cobra teachers and our Teacher of the Year, I must say, I think she will be a wonderful ambassador for education and for children.
So I think we'll just close by saying once a Cobra.
Always
a Cobra. Thank you both, Ms. Collins, Mr. Gardner, for sharing with us today and joining us on the show. We appreciate you being here and being able to celebrate your selection. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
We're privileged at this time to welcome to our show the wonderful Teacher of the Year of CAST, the Creative Arts Academy of St. Lucie, Miss Lisa Bender. Welcome
Thank you.
It's
Thank
a
you.
pleasure to have you today.
Pleasure to be here.
She's brought along my great friend and my dear colleague, the proud principal at Cass, Miss Jane Whitaker. Miss Whitaker, welcome.
Thanks. Glad to see you.
It is an honor and privilege to talk to you. It's kind of cool sitting here with Miss Whitaker because both of us were Teacher of the Year for St. Lucie Public Schools. So, more than that, it gives us an opportunity to introduce to our viewing audience some of the dynamic educators that we have here in St. Lucie Public Schools. And then to make sure that they know that you represent some of the brightest and the best near and far. So again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers?
So my name is Lisa Bender. I graduated from Olean High School in New York in 1994. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, so I packed all my belongings at 19 and moved to Florida. I tried to go to IRCC at the time, but I was denied financial aid, so I got a job, went to work, and probably 10 years later, I had the opportunity to go back, get my education. I did 2 years at IRCC, then I transferred to FAU where I got my education degree.
Cool.
In 2009, I think it was, yes.
Okay. So, Ms. Whitaker, briefly let our audience know who you are. Even though you're in front of the camera all the time, we all know you. Again.
So originally from Ohio, so go Buckeyes. We're really excited they're in the playoffs, so that's good. I moved to Florida and started teaching in 1991 and took a position as I was actually a music teacher.
Music teachers rock.
Music teacher for 17 years and then transitioned to the curriculum and talent development for a few years. So I was here at the district office and then transitioned to become a principal at Mariposa Elementary in 21. And then currently I'm at Cass. This is my 3rd year, so very proud of the where we are as a school, and very proud to be sitting next to Lisa today.
Cool, cool. So, Ms. Bender, have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
So, no. My parents were independent business owners. They owned pizzerias. My grandparents owned pizzerias, so it was just kind of naturally assumed that one day I too would be the owner of a pizzeria. But I had other plans. I wanted to see what was out there. So when I moved to Florida, I wasn't 100% sure what I wanted to do. So when I had the opportunity to go back and get my college education, I first started with business management because it's what I knew. And then very quickly I evolved into education was where I wanted to be. I had 3 small children and I wanted to be more involved in their education. So I felt like the route for me would be to become an educator myself so I could be more involved and understand the system.
So tell me, what do you make of this honor of being selected as a Teacher of the Year by your colleagues to represent Cass?
So it was definitely a surprise. This is my 3rd year there, so I was honored, humbled in a way. At first when they came, I didn't think they were coming to see me. I thought they were going next door. So I'm like, are they going to cut through my room? I just kept on teaching, and then it was a complete surprise when Ms. Whitaker stopped and made the announcements in the classroom, and the kids were happy, and we had happy tears together.
Excited.
Yeah.
So what brings you joy about teaching?
So there's lots of aspects that bring me joy with teaching. Obviously being in the classroom with the students and having that opportunity to kind of light a student up when you teach them something that they've never known before or a new way of doing something that they've always struggled with. That is one aspect. Working with my colleagues is another. Working together to come up with solutions to problems that we see. Being an advocate for a colleague or a student also brings me joy. And then just volunteering my time, especially at the school that I'm at now, the artistic side is exciting to be a part of.
So, Ms. Whitaker, you have an opportunity to visit Ms. Bender every day, watch the magic happen, just get lost in what she's doing with students. Give us a peek into what happens.
Her classroom is so student-centered, and it is one of the most engaging classrooms, and I look forward to going in there every time. You hear such great conversation with the kids, and just her passion comes out, you know, when she's instructing the kids. She's as excited about the learning as the students are, and it's so fulfilling when you go in there. And you know, sometimes you know you're in there for an observation and you get lost in what she's doing, and sometimes I'll forget, oh, I'm here, I'm supposed to be typing, you know, based on what I'm seeing, and you get lost in what she's doing because it's just so impactful. And you know, it's very apparent that every child in her classroom feels valued, and it's such a positive environment that she provides, not just to her classroom, it's to everybody that she comes in contact with.
So describe her for us using 3 adjectives and tell us why you've chosen those 3.
Ooh, limiting to that to 3 is not an easy task. I would say, first of all, very passionate. Passionate about what she does and passionate about seeing what the kid, that spark. You know, she talks about that often, about, you know, when you see that child, that light bulb goes on, you know, and it's so rewarding just to get to see her in action. The next one would be dedicated. There's nothing that Ms. Bender isn't a part of in our school. She's part of, and always the first to volunteer, and just her dedication to her students, but not just the ones in her classroom, but her kids, you know, come back, you know, want to see Ms. Bender, you know, check in with her, but it's all 513 students are impacted by her work. And then finally, the last one is impactful. Just what she has accomplished in the 3 years here at CAST, the relationships she's built, not only with her students, with the faculty, with the staff, and with the families.
So, Ms. Bender, what do you see as one of the greatest challenges facing education today?
So I think that the greatest challenge is actually a 3-tier challenge. One is families. Family dynamic is different. Both parents are required to work to support themselves. Oftentimes, grandparents are also taking on that parental role, and so they too are also being forced to work. So there's less lap time for children at home, and we all know that stories that have been shared, reading time, impacts the student at a young age that takes them through their entire academic career. The other tier is students themselves. We had something very real take place that we've never experienced before. Students had to figure out how to learn in a different environment, be it through the internet or even when they were face-to-face. It was still a very different environment for them to learn in. And I think that students, if they're not engaged, and oftentimes they have that instant gratification when they're playing a video game, and sometimes when learning happens, it doesn't always happen instantaneously. Sometimes it happens over a course of a day or a week or a semester even, and I think students struggle with not being able to have that instant gratification like they can with a video game. And then thirdly, I think my colleagues, my fellow teachers, there's a challenge there. You know, we don't teach for our summer breaks, so we do have a huge task to take on to educate students that are going to be part of our community. And I think that trying to find the internal drive to do that when we are facing so many challenges social media wise with the students and their lack of maybe commitment or willingness to work for you, I think is our greatest challenge. It's a 3-tiered: families, students, and ourselves. But I think that we have to understand that we have to give each other grace. We have to work together, that it's not one part of the 3-tier that can do it alone. And I think that giving each other the ability to give each other grace and then communicate and talk through it will get us through those challenges that we face.
With your experience, thinking back to everything that makes you a teacher that you've experienced and been a part of, when would you say that you first fell in love with teaching?
So I'm an Aquarius, and so it takes me a little bit of a time to kind of warm up to. So it wasn't really one pivotal moment. It was little moments along the way that helped build my love of teaching. Again, having the student light up when they've learned something that either they've struggled with or they just didn't know before. Having my teaching through the pandemic, which I have to say was really a pivotal moment. I was 10 years into teaching. We kind of had a system down. We knew what we were doing. And then all of a sudden, we're faced with this global need. And just watching the children rise, the resilience, the perseverance that they faced definitely solidified my love of what I do. And then after that, moving into a creative arts school was also a moment where it gave me that opportunity to just fall in love with students that just they bring dance to the classroom, they bring art to the classroom, they bring music to the classroom, they bring these special talents on their own to the classroom and enhance what we're learning. So all of that together has really solidified my love of what I do, and I can't imagine doing anything else.
So Ms. Whitaker, tell me, please, what makes Mrs. Bender the perfect candidate for this honor?
She just she's amazing at what she does. She is part of a whole family, and there's no task ever put in front of her that she doesn't exceed. And she, when you're thinking about what it takes, as far as the elements of, community service and, supporting the things in her community, supporting things school-wide, outside of her classroom, there's just an exuberant amount of events and activities that she's continually part of, and not just part of, but taking the lead. She has just taken our PBIS program at our school and ran with it. And the best outcomes that we've had in the years that I've been a part of CAST, and just the success that we're seeing and the impact of, school-wide. But just all of the components that it takes to serve as that Teacher of the Year, she is that person. And we have no doubt that, if she goes on and proceeds to the next level, that she's the best candidate to serve us as a district.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Bender, let's play a speed round. I'll throw some ideas at you, and you respond. Ready?
Okay. Yep.
Favorite food?
Italian.
Favorite restaurant?
Pineapple Joe's in Fort Pierce.
Favorite movie?
I don't really have a favorite movie, but I love a good rags to riches background, and I love a good female heroine where the woman is her own savior.
Favorite sports team?
Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yes.
I'm supposed to say the Buffalo Bills.
No. You got it right. You got it right.
My whole family is Buffalo, but I am a Steelers fan.
Me too. Favorite song?
I don't have a favorite song. I think whatever song is on the radio that gives me a feeling or either changes my mood or helps me just get into the mood of something, I think is my favorite song.
What advice would you give to a new teacher?
The advice I would give to a new teacher, which, interesting, I have the opportunity to do that. I am actually mentoring a brand new teacher this year, would be two-tiered. One, get to know your office staff, get to know the custodial maintenance staff, get to know your paraprofessionals, get to know the people that you work with, build those relationships, because when you find yourself with challenges that don't just happen in the classroom, they are the ones that will help you survive. And then second is just take it slow. There will be, you want to hit the ground running and you want to try all these initiatives and whatnot, but try one thing at a time, see if it works, and don't be afraid if it doesn't work to pull the plug and try something else.
As a Teacher of the Year over at CAST, you have automatically become their ambassador for education. What would be your message?
I've really thought long and hard about my message. I think that education, especially public education, is facing a critical time, but there is value in public education. Teachers that choose to be public school teachers don't do so for the money, and we certainly don't do it for, our time off. We do it for the love of teaching. We do it for the love of the student. We do it because we can see we are raising students that will become community members that will ultimately vote and make decisions for us after we're long and gone. And so I think to foster the relationship that you have with the child is first and foremost. And I think that we all need to take a step back and see what is really working for our education system, keep doing that. What is not working for our education system, change that. And then what are some ways that we can incorporate new ideas into education that will take us beyond where we are today.
So we ask you to bring along a prop with you that's meaningful to you as an educator. Share with us your prop.
So this is my pre-professional portfolio that I had to build my last year of teaching. It's 16 years old. It has many tabs. It just breaks down education. It's my personal profile. It goes through assessment. It goes through communication, just the different areas. And it's interesting to look back because this was me as a student. This was something that I never thought, there's probably tear stains on these pages in here somewhere. There's moments where I wanted to give up. There's encouragement. There's letters in here from people that encouraged me. So this portfolio was me as a student, and I look back on it often. I almost got rid of it, and I thought there's just so much work and so much love that went into this portfolio that there's no way that I could get rid of it. But I will say that this, as a actual professional teacher, these are the two things that I actually do need, my notebook and my calendar, my planner and my notebook, and that while this was overwhelming as a student, that I can simplify it and make an impact just with a notebook, a piece of paper, and a planner.
Awesome, awesome. Ms. Whitaker, we'll give you the final say-so, okay? Share with us anything else that you may want us to know about the wonderful Teacher of the Year, Lisa Bender.
She's a game changer, and she's a teacher that has made such a significant impact to our school. And we're just so proud that, you know, her colleagues have seen just the impact that she makes. And that's the greatest compliment that you could receive as a teacher, is when your colleagues see, you know, the work that you do and the impact, you know, and how she truly inspires everybody to be the best that they can be when you see her at work. And we just wish her the best in the next phase of, you know, this journey over the next, you know, month or so. And we know that it's no accident that she was chosen to be our Teacher of the Year, and we just wish her the best in the next phase and believe that if selected, she's going to be the best representative for us as a district.
Awesome. Ms. Bender, thank you for joining me this morning. Ms. Whitaker, same with you. And congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
You too. Thank you.
Thanks.
We are St. Lucie Public Schools. We are accoladed, recognized, accredited, merited. We are innovators, builders, career-driven, future-forward leaders. We are community-focused, partners, mentors, contributors. We are historic, unique, extraordinary, admired. We are champions, energetic, competitive, game changers. We are artists, dancers, designers, musicians. We are diverse, inclusive, collaborative, empowering. We are caregivers, protectors, supportive, attentive. Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
We're excited at this time to welcome to our show the wonderful Teacher of the Year for Fort Pierce Westwood Academy, Jenna Blankenbaker. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. We're so happy to have you with us today to share with our viewers. I must add that we have my great friend, the proud principal over at Fort Pierce Westwood, Mr. David Alfonso. Welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Perry. We're glad to be here.
I am excited to talk to you. I'm excited to talk to all of the Teachers of the Year. This show actually gives us an opportunity to share with our viewers some of the many dynamic teachers that we have working here in St. Lucie Public Schools, and let them know that you represent the brightest and the best here, near, or far. But I will tell you, I'm overly excited if I stumble over my words, because I was Teacher of the Year for Fort Pierce Westwood.
Hey, all right.
so
legacy then.
Yeah. I still think it's home and that I can go on campus. But welcome. And we are excited to have this opportunity to speak with you and share with our viewers. Give us a little bit about your background.
Sure. Well, my name is Jenna Blankenbaker. I have been at Westwood. It's my only teaching job I've ever had since I graduated college for 11 years now. I graduated from the University of Florida. Go Gators. I have a bachelor's degree in agriculture, education, and communications. I am an agriculture teacher, and I specialize in animal science. I'm actually from Brooksville, Florida, so I moved down here to teach for this job, and my plan was I'll work there 3 or 4 years and get my foot in the door, and then I'm moving back home. And that didn't work out. I'm here.
I moved here 36 years ago, and it didn't work out for me.
Right.
So welcome home.
Yeah, exactly.
Mr. Alfonso, would you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Oh, sure. My name's Dave Alfonso. I am the proud principal for Pierce Westwood Academy. And I'm very proud to be sitting next to our Teacher of the Year. I was joking about the University of Florida because I'm a graduate of Florida State University.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
But I'm going to still say yay to Florida because they did a great job preparing you to just do an outstanding job at our school. I've been in education for 32 years. This is my second year at Fort Pierce Westwood, and I just love it. It's
And we're
an incredible
excited
place
that
to be.
both of you are with us here
Thank
in
you.
St. Lucie
Thank
Public
you.
Schools. So tell me,
Sir.
how did you feel when you found out that you were given this honor by your colleagues?
Well, I was shocked and I was excited. You know, I've been there for 11 years. I won first-year Teacher of the Year, so that was exciting then. And then to just be nominated by my colleagues, and there's a lot of really good teachers at our school that I look up to. And so for them to choose me, like, it meant a lot to me that they noticed the work that I put in, you know, in my classroom and outside my classroom as well.
Animal science is a very specialized field.
Yes,
What
sir.
drew you to that?
So I have always had an interest in animals. As a young girl, I raised show animals. So I had show pigs and show steers, and we had horses. And so, like, for a small spout there, I thought, well, maybe I want to be a vet. And as I kind of got a little bit older, I realized that I love teaching too. And my passion for animal science just kind of grew, and not just animal science, but the whole agriculture industry, and just the importance of the industry and how it is an industry that feeds and clothes our entire world and country. And so being able to be an advocate for that industry that I think is so important is something that I really take a lot of pride in, and that I get a lot of happiness seeing my students be advocates who maybe didn't even know what the word agriculture meant. It just kind of happened naturally.
So when do you think you first fell in love with teaching?
Okay, so when I was, I don't know, I was probably in like 5th grade, and I would bring home workbooks from my teacher in the summer, and we would have school on my back porch. God bless my younger sister and my neighbor, because they were my students. And so I was a teacher from like...
Way back when.
Yeah,
Way back
you
when.
know, the kids in elementary school get the notes like, they're doing so good, but I wish they would let me teach the class. Like, that was me. And so I think everybody knew I was going to be a teacher early on. And so for a little bit there in high school, I tried to fight it, like, oh, maybe I'll do this or maybe I'll do that. And then, yeah, it didn't work. So I just went with what was calling me.
When you think about your 11 years, what can you pinpoint that might have been a defining moment when you realized that you had chosen the right profession? Or that it had chosen you?
Yeah. So, gosh, there's been a lot of moments where I felt like I was in the right time and in the right place, and was able to make the right choices. I have had a lot of really good students who make me look good, and so they made my job really easy throughout the years. But I think some of the things that make me, and they're small things, you know, that make me happiest though, is maybe when, you know, the county fair is a big thing for us. And so being at the county fair and seeing students I taught, like, at the very beginning, and them coming up to me and telling me, like, oh, I still remember the cuts of meat you taught me. And when I go to the grocery store, I pay more attention, and I know all the different breeds of animals that we learned. And, like, for them to come out of their way and talk to a teacher that they had 8 years ago to tell them that it was just really cool, and I was the reason that they came to school every day, like, that kind of stuff. While it's small and it's not a big moment, there's been a lot of big moments, but the little ones, I think, is what mean more to me.
Okay. So, Mr. Alfonso, you have an opportunity on a daily basis to watch the magic happen in that area with Ms. Blankenbaker. Give us a sneak peek in.
Well, first of all, when you walk into her class, the kids are just absolutely memorized with what she has to say. They are fully engaged. And I think as a principal, we always are looking at how do we get kids to be engaged in the lessons. We never have to worry about that in Mrs. Blankenbaker's class. When she takes the kids out to the stables, we actually have our own farm and our own everything. I mean, you name it. We have cows, pigs, chickens, goats, a little Shetland pony. I mean, you name it, we have it. She's always there. And not only that, just leading the way. And so I'll just share this real quick, one story. We had this one student. He is in our MOA program. And I saw him there. It was actually Labor Day weekend. My wife and I, we went over to the school just to see the cows. She walked, because that's just a cool thing. And he was feeding his cow. And he comes up to me and I says, man, how's everything going? And on this, and he says, I just have to tell you, the best thing about school is being in Ms. Blankenbaker's class and being able to do this. The best thing I have. I'm like, how's everything with your ACE classes? the best thing I do on a daily basis is to be able to go in that, because he comes in, you know, we actually bring him in on during sixth period. So that right there is a testimonial. So that's what you see. You see enthusiasm, you see excitement in her students.
So what do you make of that comment, Ms. Blankenbaker?
Oh, it makes me proud, you know. It's a lot of work, and I always say, like, being an ag teacher is not just a career, like, it's kind of a lifestyle, truthfully. Like, my whole family's very involved in my career, and so, like, to hear those comments makes me think, oh gosh, like, at least it's worth it, you know?
Yeah. Mr. Alfonso, describe Ms. Blankenbaker for me, please, using 3 adjectives, and tell me why you've chosen those 3.
Oh, well, that's easy. Energetic, okay, enthusiastic, right, and dedicated. Those 3 adjectives, the reason why I picked those is because in order for her to run such an incredible program and to make sure that the kids are really fully engaged, you have to be that way. You know what I'm saying? Her enthusiasm is shown like I said, that's why the kids love her. Her dedication, she is there. When we had the storms, we had a shelter, and we're over there sheltering in place. Mrs. Blankenbaker was there to go and check on the cows, going to check on the animals. You know, I mean, we're talking dedicated to our students, dedicated to the mission that we have at Fort Pierce Westwood Academy when it comes to our ag program, which is to make sure that our animals are, you know, taken care of, and that our students really learn exactly what needs to be. That's why we have, this year we went to nationals. We had students that placed first place at nationals, first place in the state.
Awesome.
Thanks to her.
Awesome. So what inspires you?
That's a hard question, honestly. There's a lot of things that inspire me. This is kind of silly, but my students really inspire me when they kind of get it or take it to the next level on their own, and they like feel the passion that I feel, and I see them get to show it to other people. That's really inspiring for me to keep wanting to go. Sometimes it's exhausting being an ag teacher because, like Mr. Alfonso said, I kind of put in a lot of hours. And so sometimes, you know, it can be a little, it can wear you out. And so, but it's hard for me to say no when they are asking me, can we do extra practices? Can we stay extra another day? Can you help me with this speech? Can we do this? And I just can't, like, I can't say no. So I guess they inspire me the most.
So tell me what you think is one of the most, one of the greatest challenges facing education today.
Okay. There's you know, this is a difficult question, I feel like, too, a little bit, you know, so there's a few challenges in education now, and, you know, I can get on a little bit of a soapbox, but I won't. I think that some of the things that are the hardest for us as teachers is to make the kids who maybe don't have the same desire and care to feel the same passion, whether it be about school or anything, because truthfully, as a career and technical education teacher, it doesn't necessarily need to be always about their studies, but they got to find some sort of passion about something that keeps them going and keeps them moving towards something. So if they just have a lack of motivation, and it's kind of our job to help them find maybe that drive, but having students who don't have that maybe naturally in them is a little more difficult to help them keep going.
So, Mr. Alfonso, if you had to describe Ms. Blankenbaker with a hashtag, what would your hashtag be for her and why?
For sure, it'd be #AgLife. Okay, she lives it. What's really neat is that her students live it too. The passion, the energy. She asked, I agree. I think that one of the big challenges that we have in education is apathy. You know what I'm saying? Our students come sometimes where they're just not into it. The reason why kids come to school is because of programs like Mrs. Blankenbaker and because of teachers like Mrs. Blankenbaker. You know, it feeds the soul. And so, absolutely, everything she does in and out of the classroom, it's all about ag life for sure.
So let's have some fun.
Okay.
Speed round.
Okay.
I'll throw some out at you, and you give me a response, okay?
Yes, sir.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Really?
and we know the steaks. No, I'm just joking.
Favorite restaurant?
Oh, a steakhouse.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Favorite movie?
Lonesome Dove.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Favorite sports team?
University of Florida.
Really?
Gators.
Go get, okay.
No, I'm gonna have to not agree on that one.
Okay. Favorite song?
So my grandfather, sorry, this is supposed to be speedy, but
That's okay.
Go Rest High on That Mountain. My grandfather used to sing it, and it means a lot to me.
Okay, okay. As the Teacher of the Year for Westwood High School, you have automatically become their ambassador for education. You have an opportunity to speak to the superintendent, to board members, to lawmakers. What's your message?
What's my message? My message is to keep supporting teachers, keep staying behind them, allow them to do their job, and then just encourage them when they are feeling down and out, because sometimes there are bad days, and just keep encouraging them to do more and be more.
So we ask you to bring along with you a prop, and you're supposed to share that prop and how and why it's meaningful to you. So would you do that at this time?
Sure.
Share with us
I
that prop.
actually have the picture on my phone.
Okay.
But it is a file that I made when I was in college. My professor had us make it whenever we were in our last semester at the University of Florida, and we decorated it, and mine actually has Miss McDaniel on it, so my maiden name. And inside of my file is every thank you letter or handwritten card or anything that a student has given me since my student teaching internship. And so they told us when we were going into our internship, you're going to have bad days teaching, and sometimes you're going to have really hard days, but you're going to have some really good ones too, where you make a difference in kids' lives. So keep all of these things so on the bad days that you can go through and read them. And so it's in my file at my desk, and it's about this big now, because after 11 years it's grown, but it's just something, like, as soon as I saw that we needed to have a prop, I was like, oh, that's it. Yeah.
So, Ms. Alfonso, we'll close with you.
Sure.
Share with us anything else that you may want us to know about your wonderful Teacher of the Year.
Well, I will tell you this. If there's somebody who goes above and beyond, we always ask everybody to give 100%. Ms. Blankenbaker gives 150%. And so we just appreciate that. She is involved in just about every single thing that we do at our school. And that means from the academics, and also from all of our extracurricular piece. She's there. And so as a principal, I've got to respect that. And that is the reason why her peers selected her to be the Teacher of the Year, because she lives that each and every day. Great role model.
Ms. Blankenbaker, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you both, Ms. Alfonso, for joining us. And let's end on this note by saying, once a Panther,
always a Panther. Amen.
We are St. Lucie Public Schools. We are accoladed, recognized, accredited, merited. We are innovators, builders, career-driven, future-forward leaders. We are community-focused, partners, mentors, contributors. We are historic, unique, extraordinary, admired. We are champions, energetic, competitive, game changers. We are artists, dancers, designers, musicians. We are diverse, inclusive, collaborative, empowering. We are caregivers, protectors, supportive, attentive. Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Welcome back to our Teacher of the Year celebration show. We're really excited about having the opportunity to talk to the wonderful Teacher of the Year from Francis K. Sweet Elementary School, Miss Barbara Bennett. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
She's brought along the fantastic principal at Francis K. Sweet, Miss Makita Brome. Welcome.
Thank you for having us, Dr. Perry.
Now, I'm excited because I used to work at Francis K. Sweet as the assistant principal, so I just want to hear all of the wonderful things that's going on that campus. But Ms. Bennett, before we start, would you briefly introduce yourself to our viewers, just in case somebody doesn't know you?
My name is Dr. Barbara M. Bennett. I work at FK Sweet. I'm a 5th grade teacher, and I've been teaching now for 20 years. I've been there for 10 years under the leadership of Juanita Wright, Ms. Jackson, and now our wonderful principal, Ms. Brown.
Cool. Ms. Brome, introduce yourself in case someone doesn't know you.
All right. My name is Makita Brome. I'm the proud principal of Francis K. Sweet Magnet School. It's my 2nd year at the helm. at Francis K. Sweet, and it's been such a blessing and opportunity to serve teachers like Dr. Bennett at Francis K. Sweet.
So tell me, what did you make of this honor of being selected as Teacher of the Year for FK Sweet?
Well, I've been exploring for the last 2 or 3 years. And one thing that I have been exploring there is trying to get our garden up and running, so that we called it Francis K. Sweet Therapeutic Garden. That's what the vision that I had for it. So what I did was I wrote a grant and asked Team Depot to come out and put in a garden, and now that has exploded, and we have the First Church coming in, and they are actually help maintaining it, and it's moving us into our new adventure that is going to happen hopefully 25, 26. We're calling it that. We're going to be a MOA school.
Cool. So, have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
Yes. I've known since I was in high school. I had the privilege to actually work underneath the, she mentored me, Miss Teresa Gaines, Dr. Gaines' wife. She always told me, she says, I see teaching in you because you love to help and you always reaching out. And I was in her class. She had me for trigonometry, and I would always be her assistant, and I loved it. And I found that niche that it gave me self-gratification when I was able to help others and actually be able to help them explore and bring out the best in them.
So what would you say has been a defining moment for you when you realized that you had chosen the right profession?
The defining moment was when I actually sat there and I was just wondering, because I had a lot of challenges in my life, and I was wondering, where should I go? And every time I tried to do something else, it would always lead me back to teaching. And I went from being a tutor to working in daycare. Then I went to coming and being a para. I went to the office and I thought, maybe I need to come to the office. So I came in district. I worked in human resources for 6 years, but there was no gratification there. And the wonderful Miss Sue Renew, she told me, she said, go where you know that niche is for you. And so therefore I went back to school and got my BA in elementary ed. And I knew that I loved kids, so I wanted to work with the smaller kids. So that's where I went in, and it was history.
So, Ms. Brome, you have an opportunity to see what happens in that 5th grade class every day. Give us a sneak peek.
Oh my goodness. So one, before you even walk into the classroom, Dr. Bennett has her kids lined up in the hallway, and her greeting every day is good morning, boys and girls, or good afternoon, boys and girls. So the love starts out in the hallway before you even walk into the classroom. And then walking into her classroom, it is just, you can feel the love. The students, every student participates in her class. And I'm talking about even, the kids that may get the answer wrong. Dr. Bennett's still going to call on that student and encourage that student to be the best they can be. One of the students we have right now, we've been working with him, and he's been a little bit tough, a tough nut to crack, but Dr. Bennett has worked with him, has taken him on to mentor him, and this kid has gone from getting level 1s to almost level 3s. So she has a firm belief in every student, and you see that in the way she teaches, and the rigor that she puts and she demands on the kids, she keeps them right where that rigor needs to be.
Describe Ms. Bennett for me using 3 adjectives and tell me why you've chosen those 3.
Oh my goodness, kind. I mean, everything that she does, she is kind. She is always looking out for others and for their best interest. She's dedicated. I mean, everything that she does, Dr. Bennett is going to do it to her fullest extent and her fullest effort. She believes in no person left behind, so she is going to bring everyone with her. And sincere. I don't think you'll find a more sincere person. She is sincere in everything she does. You feel that she's genuine in everything that she does. And it bleeds over into who we are at FK Suite.
Kind, dedicated, and sincere. So let me turn the tides on you, Dr. Bennett. What makes you a great teacher?
What makes me a great teacher is that I believe in everyone, not just only my students, but I believe in the teachers at FK Suite as well. I believe in my community. I believe that everyone has an opportunity to be all they need to be. And that's where I feel that success is when I can pull that nugget out of that person and make them be who they were created and designed to be. Because if you can find your purpose in life and you can walk therein, then that will make you the better person. And hey, each one reach one. And I reach back and I try to help each and every person, not only my students, but people in my community, people in my church, people in my school. I try to make them feel that you can do this because we are helpers one to another.
What do you think is one of the greatest challenges facing education today?
The greatest challenge I feel is to get our students to believe that they can do what they are trying to accomplish. Because we're looking at the world, they are looking at the world. They're looking at things that are happening, things that are major challenges and things that they're going up against, and to get them to believe in themselves. And that's the one thing that I'm here to do, is to get them to believe in themselves and know, hey, stay positive on everything. You can do this. If you only put your mind to it, you can do whatever, and you can be and accomplish whatever you desire to accomplish.
So, Ms. Brown, what makes Dr. Bennett the perfect candidate for this honor?
Oh my goodness, her integration into FK Suite. Dr. Bennett, like she said, is not just a 5th grade teacher. She is a teacher and an active member at FK Suite. She leads every Monday we have prayer at the flagpole. She leads that every Monday. She has volunteered. We've had some students in some of our lower grade levels that have some behavior issues, honestly, and Dr. Bennett has volunteered, and she is mentoring a kindergartner. She checks in with him every day. She did it last year for a 1st grader. She knows the names of students in every grade level. So she does not restrict herself to just being a 5th grade teacher. She knows every staff member. They know to come to her when they need something and see if she can help with that. And then she's an undercover angel. So there are things that she does that happen around the school that we don't realize that she's been doing, whether it's helping kids, providing prizes to her students. She gets people actively involved. And even things that are like cornerstones to FK Suite. So she's in charge of our Black History Month, you know, and putting on the Wax Museum. And she's just so integral to there's not a thing we do on our campus that she is not a part of. And that's what makes her the ideal candidate.
So let's have some fun, Ms. Dr. Bennett. Play a speed round. I'll throw some ideas back out at you and you respond back to me. Favorite food?
Specks and bluegills.
No. Freshly caught.
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
yes,
all right.
Bone in.
Yeah. Favorite restaurant?
Outback.
Favorite movie?
Sister, Sister.
Favorite sports team?
Miami Dolphins.
Okay, I guess. Favorite song?
Jesus.
Okay, so as a Teacher of the Year for Francis K. Suite, you automatically become their ambassador for education. What's your message?
My message is to stay focused, always believe in children. Every day is a new day, and come with the attitude that you are the best that these children will ever be able to look up to.
So we ask you to bring a prop with you that and share how it's meaningful to you and how it represents you as an educator. Share with us, please.
Well, I brought my favorite sign that I look at every morning. This is what I wake up with: stay positive, because you're the one that these children and everybody else will be looking at. They're looking up to. Not only are the children looking up to you, but everyone around you. And if you have that positive nugget to impart in them, then they will be able to get that energy from you and make their day a better day. Also, I brought this circular ring. There's no break in this ring. We all are workers together. And what we need to do is we need to come together, work together, and most of all, when we come together at FK Suite, this is something we do every morning. We come together, join together to make our school a better school.
So, Ms. Brome, I'll give you the last say-so. Share with us anything else that you want us to know about your wonderful Teacher of the Year.
I love Dr. Bennett. I love everything that she does. She is always encouraging, and even on some days that aren't the best days, for myself as a principal, she comes in and she encourages me. She encourages all the staff members. She just exemplifies what it means to be an encourager and a supporter, and I love that. I love that about her.
So, Dr. Bennett, Ms. Brome, thank you for joining us. It's been a pleasure sharing this time with you as we introduce some of our Teachers of the Year to our viewers, and congratulations on your selection.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
We're excited at this time to welcome to our celebration for teachers the wonderful Miss Mache Thompson, who is the fantastic Teacher of the Year over at Lakewood Park Elementary. Welcome.
Hello, thank you.
Thank you for being here. She's brought along with her the dynamic principal there, Miss Kathleen Melrose. Welcome to the show, Miss Melrose.
Thank you so much. Super excited to be here.
Great, great. We're excited every year that we have an opportunity to do this show because it lets us introduce to our community some of the wonderful teachers that we have in the area. And again, just to show them that we have some of the brightest and the best near and far when it comes to educators here. Just in case, Ms. Thompson, no one knows you, I'm sure they do, briefly introduce yourself to our viewers.
My name is Mache. I graduated from Blanche Ely High School. I always have to announce them first. I graduated from FAU. I've been teaching now. This is my 17th year. I was in Broward County, and this is my 3rd year here in St. Lucie County.
Cool, cool. Ms. Melrose?
Yes, so this is my 3rd year as well at Lakewood Park. So we came to Lakewood Park together, actually, and my 8th year as principal in St. Lucie County. But super excited to be a Falcon. It's a great place to be.
So tell me, how did you feel when you found out that you had been selected as the Teacher of the Year by your colleagues?
I was shocked. I looked at her for a while like, what is going on? But, you know, I was excited, you know, to actually be recognized for my hard work.
Have you always known that you wanted to be a teacher?
No.
Okay.
No, actually I wanted to be a nurse. And at my high school, we had Fridays off. So I volunteered at the local elementary school. And that's when I knew, okay, I want to work with kids. I enjoyed every minute of it. So that's when I finally realized.
So when you think about those high school days and volunteering, do you think that there might have been a teacher that influenced that decision?
Oh, definitely. Her name was Miss Brooks, and I actually saw her over Christmas break, ran into her at Target, and she knows how I feel about her. She was my 4th grade teacher. But even through my teaching career, I can call on her and, you know, ask for advice and help.
Tell me then, Ms. Thompson, when did you first fall in love with teaching?
Truly, truly in love. I would say about my, honestly, 7th year teaching. I received an email because I was in doubt for a little while. Like I wasn't sure if I was doing it right, so to say. And one of my students reached out to me on Facebook, and she just wanted me to know that she made it to high school, and like she thanked me for all my help, and she reassured me that I was a good teacher. And that's when I was like, okay, I love this. Okay, I'm doing something right.
Cool, cool. So Ms. Melrose,
Yes.
you have an opportunity to watch the magic happen every day.
Yes.
Give us a look inside her class.
Okay, it's definitely magic, for sure. And it's funny when I hear her say that she wasn't sure if she was doing it right, because her classroom is amazing. It's dynamic. As soon as you walk into the room, kids are in groups. They're grouped all the time based on their specific need. Every kid is working in a group with manipulatives and materials to suit their needs. Her planning for her instruction goes well beyond the ordinary, because not all kids are doing the same thing. She's with a group. She has another partner teacher with another group, a volunteer with another group, and those kids are rotating constantly throughout that math block, getting exactly what they need, and it all shows in her end results and her data, because her students are achieving.
Cool. Describe Ms. Thompson for us using 3 adjectives and tell us why.
Okay, sure. So first one would be extraordinary. And I say that because she goes well beyond the ordinary. For example, when she's teaching math, it may not even be with kids at their desks. It may be using the floor for area and perimeter. Or she may be dressed as a chicken running through the school for some reason, because she's done that too. So we're going to go extraordinary. Open-minded, because she is always willing to learn something new. If something's not working and we give her a suggestion, she's ready to do something different and try something different. And I'm going to go with relentless, because she will not stop until 100% of her kids are making growth.
So Ms. Thompson, what do you consider to be one of the greatest challenges facing education today?
I would say COVID right now. Reason being because of that big learning gap, and we are seeing it hands-on right now in the classroom. You know, our babies miss that one-on-one instruction with the teachers. I'm teaching math, but I'm also teaching reading, because we're teaching those vowel sounds, and I was like, what, I have to teach reading? But you know, I understand. But I would definitely say it was COVID right now.
So because of the challenge, now tell me what you may be most hopeful about.
I hope that the school system and the parents recognize the importance of education. That
most hopeful for?
Just that, you know, we can all come together to help these babies succeed.
Okay. It does take all of us working hand in hand to continue to move forward, especially as you mentioned, coming off COVID, we know that there was some losses there, and it no longer can be just one. It's going to take a group of us. So Ms. Melrose, tell me this, if you had to, we talked about the 3 adjectives, but if you had to say hashtag, what would your hashtag for Ms. Thompson be?
Transformative force.
Tell me why.
Because she is that. She is transforming children, and she is a force to be reckoned with. Because like I said, she does not stop. She does not quit or give up on a child. And I want to go back to what she said about the reading. I did come to her and I said, I need you to teach reading during MTSS. And she was like, what? I go, and it's going to be phonics. So what do I see her doing the next day? Walking down the hallway watching a You Fly Phonics video, because she jumps right in, and she's doing a really good job at that too. So transformative force, because she is transforming education one child at a time.
Ms. Thompson, if you could speak to a parent and advise them on some things that help them ensure that their child would be a success, what would that be?
To have a positive attitude with education, stay in communication with the teacher, just be there for them.
So Melrose, what makes your Teacher of the Year, Ms. Thompson, the perfect candidate for this honor?
Not only does she, what she does in her classroom, it explodes throughout the school, right? So she's a model teacher. So we bring other teachers into her classroom to watch what she's doing. When I say transform education, she's doing it. When I say getting 100% kids to make gains, she's doing it. So we bring other teachers into her room to model what she is doing. She's very modest right now, but she is fantastic, and just everything she does each and every day for our entire school, not only during the day, but then after school, because she works for our Boys and Girls Club at our school. So then she continues at the end of the day with our kids of all grade levels. Her little friend who is in kindergarten she's her mentor, and you see them walking through the hallways together at 5 o'clock. So her day just does not stop. When the school day stops, she continues on at Lakewood Park. She also lives in Lakewood Park. So she's really a big part of not just the school community, but the Lakewood Park community itself. So I think she's very deserving of this honor.
So let's have some fun. Let's play a speed round. I'll throw some items out to you and you give me a response. Favorite food?
Shrimps.
Favorite restaurant?
Longhorn.
Favorite movie?
Love and Basketball.
That's a great movie. It's a great movie. Favorite sports team?
Chicago Bulls, because of Michael Jordan.
Okay, so you're really a Jordan fan.
I am, but I would say the Dolphins.
Favorite song?
Better.
Okay, so as the Teacher of the Year for your school, you automatically become that school's ambassadors. You may have an opportunity to speak to our wonderful school board members. What's your message?
To the members, just be supportive, stay in communication, and just basically, if we're talking about the higher authority, just always have our backs. And if it's like a new member, just don't give up. Come in this with your heart, wholehearted.
So we ask you to bring a prop with you, and with that prop, you're supposed to share with us how and why it's meaningful to you as an educator. Share with us.
So I brought in a picture. It's been my motivation of me and my daughter. I had my daughter at 18, where people would think that your life is over. I was determined to finish school, finish college, and one of the joys was that she was there to watch me cross the stage. So on the bottom picture, it was me being able to watch her cross the stage from college. So I hope that this picture continues with one day maybe I'll be a grandma, and then we could take the picture with them as well.
So Ms. Melrose, we'll give you the final say-so. What else do you need us or want us to know about Ms. Michelle Thompson, your fabulous Teacher of the Year for Lakewood Park?
She's a genuine, loving, caring, nurturing teacher. In addition to being that relentless teacher, not giving up on a child's academics, she loves these kids with all of her heart, and has been seen giving her own shoes off of her feet to our kids. So she goes out of her way to not only make sure her kids get what they need academically, she makes sure that they get what they need socially and emotionally.
Cool, cool. Ladies, Ms. Thompson, Ms. Melrose, thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing with us, and congratulations on your selection as Teacher of the Year.
Thank you.
We are St. Lucie Public Schools. We are accoladed, recognized, accredited, merited. We are innovators, builders, career-driven, future-forward leaders. We are community-focused, partners, mentors, contributors. We are historic, unique, extraordinary, admired. We are champions, energetic, competitive, game changers. We are artists, dancers, designers, musicians. We are diverse, inclusive, collaborative, empowering. We are caregivers, protectors, supportive, attentive. Today's learners, tomorrow's leaders. We are St. Lucie Public Schools.
Wow, what an amazing and inspiring group of educators. The Teacher of the Year Award is a call to service that comes with a responsibility and obligation to elevate students and the profession. This award isn't about being the best teacher, it's about being chosen to represent the best teachers and the honor of being called to represent such an incredible profession. We applaud these teachers who devote their personal lives to enriching the lives of St. Lucie Public Schools and our students. We thank them every day because they make a difference and do that special something that truly matters. Every day, they leave an undeniable mark on the future. Congratulations to all these teachers for their selection as the Teacher of the Year.